Zoom and boom, everyone. I'm starting this a little early because I'm just so excited to get this started and underway. I know it's 4 minutes before noon on the East Coast, but it is that time and we are live. Episode number 23 of According to Spiky Dash. As always, I've been wanting to do this for a long time coming, but the start of the month, crazy busy, a lot going on. And also there was, it was just a busy month, and it's a busy time of year because, of course, for me, with the holidays coming up, it's going to get a little hectic. And also this past week affected my streaming entirely because the YouTube outage that happened last week. So that threw all the schedule into craziness. So I had to cancel week 7 FSR preview. I had to push this back to today. So it was all kinds of hectic. But we are here now, and that is what matters. For those of you who saw the tweet on Twitter a little bit earlier before I went live, lot to discuss in this video, lot to get to, a lot of things. Again, mainly pony-centric, a few things that are outside of that, but for the most part, this is very, very pony-centered. Going to talk about, as I mentioned on the rundown on Twitter, going to talk about Everfree a little bit with that situation going on and how it has come to, I guess, somewhat of a resolution. I don't know if they're fully there yet. I'm sure more will happen in days to come or the months to come as that gets closer to May of next year. But there is an update on that we have to share regarding that, an update to kind of our convention plans as well for next year, a little bit of an update on that. Battlebots recently concluded. They crowned a champion. I'll talk about how that went down. My thoughts on a exciting video game coming up this next month in November. That I'll talk about. And then, of course, we will end with episode recaps of Season 8, episodes 23, 24, and then, of course, very, very special at the end, because I have not seen the finale yet. I have not watched it. I didn't, and true story, and this is how crazy things can be sometimes, but true story, the weekend that the finale was on a Saturday, of course, I wanted to record it on my DVR. That week, Indiana State had a home football game, which I go to all the Sycamore home games with Nate and Matt, and most of you guys know that. So I wanted to record it on the DVR before we went down to campus early that morning. Well, my dish guide was having some, I guess, technical issues, and it wasn't showing up right in the guide. It was showing that it was going to air the Season 8 premiere school days instead of the finale school rays. So knowing that, if the guide information was wrong, and this has happened to me before, if I tried to record it and then Dish realizes later, oh wait, it's not the right thing that's in the guide, it wouldn't have recorded it. It wouldn't have done it correctly. And the guide never corrected itself even on the morning of. So it was a tricky situation I had to deal with. So I couldn't record the episodes. So And I've been seeing, of course, pictures and things from the episode. So I kind of have a sense of what happens, but not fully. What I predicted, obviously, did come to fruition. I knew Cozy Glow was evil the whole season. I knew that. The staff and the writers made it too obvious. So I knew that she was going to have a role. What I don't know yet, and I'll talk about this in the other later recaps, what I don't know yet is how she's going to do it. How is she going to pull it off? That I don't know yet. So, I'm still waiting on that. And I gotta say, and maybe I'll talk about this more when it comes to past later on. But my thoughts in general on Season 8, they've really, it's been mostly an underwhelming season. Now, not for the reasons you might think. There have been some amazing episodes, and of course, the students have to me been the most amazing part of it. Any episode with them I've loved for the most part. Well, except non-compete clause for obvious reasons. And I'll talk about, and I'll give all my episode rankings and season rankings at the end after I watch the episode, because this is the special at the end. I'll recap episodes 23 and 24, which I've already seen. But then the finale, which I was tipped off is on Daily Motion. I'm gonna watch it right from my phone. I can't get Daily Motion on my dish, so it'd be kind of a pain to get it to the TV. So it is on it is on Daily Motion. I did check if it was on YouTube before. It's not, unfortunately. There's a lot, of course, reviews on it that I'm sure I will watch as well, like Apple Geeks, and once he puts his up, and Blank Slates, and other people's that I occasionally watch. But aside from that, it looks like it is on Daily Motion. So I will watch the finale, and I will, of course, do live commentary to it, as I watch it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking to see how this ends and all comes about. I'm really hoping to see. And finales in the past, the past couple have been really good. I've liked a couple in the past. I've liked season 7s. I liked season 6s. Previous ones, okay, not ooh off the page great, but okay. So hopefully, so again, I kind of know the premise of it. I just don't know how it's going to occur. That's really where I'm at. And like I said, Twitter, the spoilers on Twitter really kind of ruined the season for me a bit. It really did, because in some cases with all the leaks toward the end, I knew a lot of what was going to happen even before it aired. So that kind of took some of the surprise and the intrigue out of the season a bit, because I already knew kind of what was going to go on even before it happened. So that was kind of disappointing in a way. So it kind of lessened my overall outlook on the season, because I was just so spoiled going forward. So, I hate to be that guy. As you guys know, I hate to be that guy who just randomly mutes and blocks people on Twitter because of spoilers. But I've posted on Twitter, I've said it on here. If you continually do that, if you post spoilers, if you post leaks on my feed, you're going to get blocked. And I hate doing that to people, but I've had to do it to several in the community because they just won't quit. And it's frustrating. You let people know, hey, don't do that, or else I will do this. So it's painful that I have to keep doing that. But when they keep doing it and don't listen, you kind of got to follow through on it. The people I block on Twitter, and I had to do it again, last night to one guy regarding hockey. Wearing my Lightning jersey today because the Lightning kicked the crap out of Chicago last night. Yay! I had to block a Blackhawks fan who actually was following me because I tweeted the fact, Chicago scored to tie the game, and I cue their annoying goal song because I don't like it. I despise Chelsea Dagger. I don't like the Blackhawks. I despise the goal song. I hate it. I don't like it. I find it annoying. And the guy basically told me to F off. And I'm like, wow, okay, it's 2018. You can disagree with me, but to come off as a grade A jerk, to come off with such foul language toward me, no, I'm not going to stand for that. That's unacceptable. I'm not going to take that. I don't have the right to take that from anybody, whether it's face to face or on Twitter. So I naturally blocked him, and enjoy your block. Some Blackhawks fans can be just great a-holes. So don't be, you can disagree with me, but don't be a dick about it. That's basically what I've always felt. We can I encourage discussion. I encourage conversation. I don't mind if we have differing opinions. Just don't be a dick. That's really all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be a dick. Don't be a dick. So that's the way I see things. If you're going to be a dick, then you're going to get blocked. So, but no, that's what's upcoming. That's what I have planned, and I'm really looking forward to watching that in the end. So, but let's start first with kind of a follow-up to what we talked about in episode 22 with the situation and the drama, if you will, surrounding Everfree Northwest. As we talked about, there was a situation on that eventually was at first was very private, in-house, and then went to Twitter and just got out in the open, and then turned into a big hullabaloo with the president of the Everfree, or was it the Pegasi board, I think is what it is, who kind of runs Everfree, was going into this Twitter tirade over this whole situation, was saying that people were banned, that people couldn't be welcome in his convention. It was a messy situation, and a lot of people in the fandom were really starting to question the future of Everfree Northwest. Some were saying they were going to boycott it. They weren't going to attend at all as a result of this unless, something changed. Well, eventually something did change. Shortly after shortly after that episode, a few days later, actually it might have been either the same day or a day after, I think it was like the 26th of September, I want to say, Everfree did actually come out with a public statement. Now, this statement, was just mainly to address the situation. It wasn't really a full-on apology. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. This was mainly just to address the situation, explain what was going on to anyone who wasn't fully in the know from what was on Twitter and what was posted on Horse News and all of that. So this was just more of a, addressing it, explaining that, we explaining what happened, what was going on. This really wasn't a full-on apology, but that eventually came later. So I just want to share, if you haven't seen, it is on Everfree Northwest's Twitter account as well. If you want to delve back into the archives and see that, along with Kyle's apology, which he has posted as well. So here was the statement from Everfree, and at points as I read this, I'll stop and just share my thoughts. As promised, the executive team for Everfree Northwest 2019 would like to publicly address recent events involving our convention. We sincerely appreciate the community's patience while we continue to work through this internally. We are dedicated to continue providing a safe, welcoming, and magical convention, as they always have. Everfree is one of the more notable conventions in the community. It is one of the biggest now in the community. With BronyCon ending here next year, it's going to be still, as long as it continues on, it is going to be one of the bigger conventions in the Brony community. So it's still going to be huge. We know people are upset, and we are actively working to reconcile directly with those involved, which, again, is also a very good thing. We understand the community is passionate about this. A good thing. So they even emphasize in their statement that they understand how upset and frustrated and the community was about all of this. So they get it. They do get it. But it's much easier to resolve these issues directly with affected parties instead of publicly on Twitter. And I agree on that. And I definitely agree on that. And to that end, we want to acknowledge our own part and mistakes. This issue began as a private staffing matter when Scott Kinnersley, also aka Thornwing, the Everfree Northwest 2019 chair, moved an artist from design staff, who we know now as Midnight Premiere, after consulting with executive and design department management. The artist was understandably upset upon receiving notice of the decision to remove them from staff. It says understandably so. You get removed from the staff for no reason, not even explained to you, and all you want is an explanation. And Nate had mentioned this in episode 22. He mentioned, all she wanted was an explanation of why she was removed. So that's totally understandable. Without receiving an immediate response to a different email inquiry, the artist took to Twitter to voice her concerns in public. Now, again, and I mentioned this, the Midnight Premiere may have gone about it a different way. She might not have needed to go out, and raise hell on Twitter, if you will. She might have approached this a different way. But I can understand, if you don't get a response, hey, I've been there. I've reached out to individuals and things before, and I've never gotten a response from them. So I can totally relate to Midnight there. I can totally relate to her. But again, kind of, raising hell on Twitter as a result, maybe not the right approach. Now, this action was followed soon after by questions sent to the Everfree Twitter account asking for information concerning the board of directors of Pegasi Northwest, the 501c3 company that manages Everfree Northwest. Then Kyle Elliott, the president of the board, made contact with the artist, and certain arrangements concerning the matter were discussed. Very soon after that meeting, the parties involved split in disagreement on how things should proceed. So there was this disagreement between Kyle and Midnight Premiere about how it was handled, how the issue between her and Scott was handled, the fact that there was a trust issue because Scott had thought that Midnight Premiere had leaked information about Crystal Mountain Pony Con, another con that Scott handles or handled, now that it's done. And she thought that she was the one who had leaked the information to Horse News prior. So there was also that whole mess. Very soon after that, the situation escalated in the public view as Kyle fiercely defended the convention and its staff. Now, I don't blame Kyle for doing that. I don't blame him for defending Everfree Northwest. But again, it's the way he went about it. It's the way all these parties involved went about the way that they, communicated. It's, there's a right way and a wrong way, and I feel like both Midnight Premiere and Kyle were kind of in the wrong here on the way that they approached and tried to handle this situation. That's what I feel like was kind of in the wrong there. Many things were said on all sides of the argument, both in public and through Twitter. Direct messages to Kyle. Now this part of the statement is what I don't agree with. This is also people taking things the wrong way, including anti-Semitic slurs, intentional lies and half-truths, and even a death threat. That is going way too fucking far. Excuse me, but that is ridiculous. I understand that there were people that were obviously mad at Kyle for what he said and his rant and all of that. But you look no better. You look no better than him than by taking it that way. You look no better than him. You're not spreading the right message at all by doing that stupid stuff. So if those people were given bans from Everfree, hey, I'm completely for that. If they singled out those people, and because that I'm sure would violate their code of conduct. If they did that, then yeah, that's understandable. But people that didn't take that approach and were just trying to defend Midnight Premiere, or again get an explanation, or or what have you, or say, hey, Kyle, that's not right, with being nice about it, not being angry, bitter, and taking it to that level. Those people should not have been banned. And Everfree later, and again, this next paragraph does address that as well. As a rule, the response to those posts resulted in issuing of attendance bans. So yeah, as long as they're banning the people that went to another extreme to that level, yeah, I can understand those people being banned, but not the people that tried to have a rational discussion, that had tried to be, make rational communication. Those people should not have been banned. The people that took it to that extreme, yes, I 100% agree with, should be banned. As a rule, we only ever ban people for egregious violations of our code of conduct. We can assure the community that mass bannings will not be happening. So again, they didn't do that to that extreme. I'm sure they just banned the people that took it to that next level. If you are wondering if you have been banned, it is more than likely you have not been. Due to the inherently private nature of individual attendance bans, we do not maintain a public ban list, and we will refrain from commenting on these issues publicly. And I guess that, and again, that's a good way to do it, because it should be private. It should be, they don't put out there in public to humiliate anybody. I can totally understand that. If you are personally unsure about your standing with the event, please contact us at their email address. So again, I totally agree with that. Out of respect for each individual's privacy, we can respond to third-party inquiries about whether people have been or may be banned. Totally cool with that. But then here's what ticked off a lot of people in the community as well, because I won't say some, a lot of people in the community saw this paragraph right here as kind of a cop-out, because they thought that Everfree here was making excuses for Kyle's behavior. Another factor to recognize is that while confronting this issue, Kyle has been dealing with critical health complications due to his diabetes this past week, leading up to his hospitalization and diagnosis that his deteriorating condition contributed to his volatile mood. In other words, he was already under immense medical stress when all this happened, and he regrets that those complications may have affected the situation in any way. So a lot of people in the community took that as, oh, they're blaming his medical issues on his rant. And a lot of people were not happy with that. But then Everfree basically responded to all those inquiries and saying, well, we're not saying that as an excuse. We're not saying that that was the reason for his behavior. Not fully anyway. There was complications from it. The stress might have contributed to it, but we're not actually blaming it in and of itself for his actions. His actions still are deplorable and not defendable in any way, but we're just saying there might have been this might have been a reason for it. But again, they're not fully blaming his condition for his behavior. That's not what Everfree was trying to do here, I don't think. But a lot of people took it that way. They were just trying to explain, okay, this might have something to do with it, but we are not in and of itself blaming Kyle's diabetes for his behavior. That's not what they were trying to do here. So I think a lot of people misunderstood that paragraph, and I did it first. I'll be honest, because I'm an honest individual. I actually misinterpreted it first as well. I thought, okay, they're that's what I thought. They're blaming Kyle's condition for his behavior. But then as I read the stream of tweets more and more and saw that Everfree said, no, that's not what we're trying to convey here. We still don't condone his behavior. We're just saying that this may have attributed to it, but we're not blaming his condition for the behavior. Because we're not excusing it because of that. We're not condoning it because of that. So they really had to clarify that in the days following, but eventually I think that got through to the community, especially when Kyle's apology came out a day later. So, or maybe I think it was 2 days later. It was a few days after Everfree came out with their statement, because people wanted more, and that's understandable. This community is very passionate about issues that affect it, and I've seen that as a part of this community. So I can totally understand why we were so rattled in that regard. But so that's what they were trying to say there. Additionally, subsequent attempts to further mediate and reconcile privately with involved parties are currently stalled by the individual's hesitance to discuss the matter further. So Midnight didn't even want to address it anymore, and I'm sure she was burned out a little bit over all of this. She was probably just like, I don't want this to drag on anymore. Which I can understand. Again, I can understand it. It's just burnout. You want it to get resolved, you want it to get done, but you keep being attacked, and it's like, no, I don't want this to go on any longer. I don't want it to fester anymore. I don't want it to continue. And Nate even reached out and said, enough. You've done what you've done. You've put it out there. You've been attacked. This needs to quit. And Everfree did respond to that and said, okay, it's not very productive because no one should be silenced. So I don't think Nate was trying, and Nate apologized later, because and I stood up for Nate as his best friend. I stood up for him, and I said, wait a minute, that's not what Nate was trying to convey. It wasn't that he was trying to silence Midnight. It's that I think he speaks for the whole of the community, as myself does as well. And we just wanted it to get resolved. We wanted the drama to end. We want Everfree to be successful. I've always said that. I always will believe that. I even tweeted to them, I want you guys to be, I don't want this to be what takes you down. I don't want this to remain a problem. I don't want this to, have an influence in 2019. Everfree is going to be a great convention in 2019. They're doing a theme around the School of Friendship, around the Student 6, which I applaud. And I think it's going to be awesome. They're going to get a ton of the voice actors and actresses who do the students, which is cool. I love that. And I wish that somehow I could get to Seattle and go, but that's not very feasible. The communication, that was the biggest thing. The communication just needed to be resolved. But so it says, in the current state, we are open to further talks to resolve as much as we can. So they were open, and they talked to a lot of people. They talked, pretty sure they talked more to Midnight and to Scott and to Kyle and to many throughout the community. And eventually, I think the community was very happy with eventually what came out of this. We value every individual involved with Everfree Northwest, be they VIP, community guest, vendor, artist, attendee, or staff. Not only is everyone welcome, but everyone is important. That was huge of them to say, and I'm glad they did. Putting on an amazing event for our community is our number one priority. Everfree Northwest would not be the same without the dedicated vendors, staff, and attendees that support us each year, and that's very, very true for any convention. While there were good intentions and mitigating medical circumstances underlying the initial blow-up, we still acknowledge our role in this and ask for forgiveness as the entire Everfree staff moves forward with our mission to bring Equestria to Earth for 3 days. We hope to see you in May. Signed at the Everfree Northwest executive team. So this really at the time didn't really go over well with the community, because they wanted an actual apology from Kyle. They wanted Kyle to come out and speak and post something or say something, and eventually that did later come out, and Everfree did connect with a lot of those in the community regarding these issues. Well, and I'm glad that they did. I applaud them for that, and I am very thankful for that. So then a few days later, Kyle came out with his own statement, and this is an apology. This truly, I think there's true sincerity in this, and remorse, and I really do, and I'm hoping, and this is a first step. This needed to be done. This needed to be taken, and I'm thankful that that attempts are being made to reconcile with anyone that was affected. So that I applaud Everfree and Kyle for. So here is Kyle's statement that came out. Starts right off with, "I am sorry. Needed to be said. I have been dedicated to supporting Everfree Northwest for many years now. I am currently the president of the board of Pegasi Northwest, and I oversee all the financial aspects of the convention, as well as appoint the convention chair. This does not give me the right to act the way that I did." So again, comes right out and says it. "And does not excuse my actions." Again, what Everfree was trying to say in its statement. "There are no excuses for the way I behaved. I want to take full responsibility for everything that has resulted from the way that I lashed out at members of our community, and I apologize for letting rage guide my actions and responses to people seeking answers." Exactly. That all needed to be said. And he put it perfectly. That all needed to be said. "Again, I am sorry. I humbly ask forgiveness for my mistakes. I want to make it clear," and this is an important paragraph too that I really highlight here, that Kyle said here. "I want to make it clear that throughout all of this, everyone on my team, including Scott, tried to talk sense into me, but I would not listen. It took time for me to cool off, step back, and see the damage that I caused. Now it's time for me to attempt to make things right." Anger and rage can really blind a person. I've seen it firsthand. I've been a part of it firsthand. I completely get it. And clearly here, Kyle was just blinded by this anger and rage for defending his convention. He is obviously very passionate about Everfree. We can tell. But it's good to know that he once took a step back and he saw, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I saying? That this needs to be fixed. That he took the moment to fix it. So I applaud Kyle for that. "No one deserves to be treated the way I spoke to members of our artist and vendor community." Agreed. "No one should or will be banned from attending Everfree Northwest for taking any part in this." Also agreed, except for those who went, I don't know about those who went a step further with the death threats and the anti-Semitic slurs and all that. "After reviewing my actions, I know that I went overboard in my defense of Scott. I was blindsided by anger, yes, and used my position of power to make impulsive attendance bans. These are all invalid. To demonstrate this, our team will not enforce any of these bans." Actually, though, it says here, even if they came from legitimate violations of our code of conduct. So they're actually not banning anybody. So I guess in a sense, that's a true act of remorse, forgiveness on all sides, that even those that went that far, they're not going to be banned. So I guess this is true olive branch from side to side here. This really is a peace offering, I guess, for all sides. So I guess in that regard, I can understand, where Kyle's coming from, in an effort to move past all that has happened. So that's why they're not banning anybody, because they just want to move past this and focus on May. Simply put, no one will be banned for any actions taken in relation to this matter. Now, here's another important paragraph. "I will not be stepping down from my position as president of the board at this time. But in days to come, it will be a consideration I will be pondering with the same fervor these actions were taken with." So he is considering it. And Nate even posted on Twitter, and he said, does Kyle right now have the mental, emotional, physical capacity to head up this convention, to be on the board, to run it, And it is a legit question, and people followed Nate back and said, no, you asked a really good question. You asked a great understandable question. It made sense. So he is considering stepping down, but he hasn't as of yet. And I haven't seen anything else on Twitter yet that shows that. So if it does happen, I'm sure it will be out there. But right now, I've not seen anything that determines that. For now, however, I'll turn to my place behind the scenes, managing the convention's finances, and let the executive staff of Everfree Northwest do what they do best. I've also deactivated my Twitter account permanently, so that is no longer Kyle's account is no longer on there. Furthermore, we are in the process of establishing bylaws to separate duties between board and convention authority and power, thereby creating a stronger check and balance system. I applaud them for doing that. That's a good next step as well. Please have faith in Everfree Northwest. It is a good and honest convention full of dedicated volunteers. I ask that you not let my mistakes reflect poorly on the convention or its staff and executives. I hope the community can forgive me and look forward to Everfree Northwest 2019 with excitement and optimism. I apologize for my actions and humbly ask for forgiveness. Please allow me to grow and learn from this mistake by giving me a second chance. Sincerely, Kyle Elliott from Pegasus Northwest. Yeah, so this needed to be done. This step needed to be taken. Kyle, I applaud you for doing this. This needed to be done, needed to be said, and I don't hold Everfree in bad regard. I don't. They eventually addressed it, and it needed to be done. And I applaud them for the way they approached it. I applaud for the better communication that was taken by all parties involved. Things like this can be rectified. As long as you communicate in the right way, as long as you take the right approach, as long as you forgive each other, situations like this can be rectified. So I always said from the start, I did not want this to be the dark cloud that just hung over Everfree. I didn't want it to sit and stew. I didn't want it to continue to affect this convention. Everfree is one of the, best conventions this fandom right now has to offer, and I did not want it to be fully affected by this. So this needed to be said. Everything in this needed to be said, needed to be done, and I applaud Everfree, their staff. I applaud Kyle. I applaud Scott. I applaud everybody for doing the right thing and addressing this the right way and fixing it the right way. And hopefully, as I tweeted as well, those steps will continue to be taken to reach out to the affected parties and get things fixed, and then focus on what should be an outstanding convention in May of 2019. I'm really hoping. I wish them nothing but the best. I really do. I really hope it pans out for them, and I hope that it's a great week or a great weekend, because they deserve it. They really do. For what they're going to be putting on, they deserve a good convention. And so I wish nothing but the best for Everfree, and I'm glad that they took the right steps. So yay, Everfree. Proud of you. Proud of the way that you approach this. Proud of the way that you're taking the steps. And I only wish you nothing but the best in the months and the months to come to prep for the 2019 event. So, yay, I applaud you. I applaud you all for that. Great job. All right, moving on. Speaking still of conventions, though, a little bit of an update for our plans for 2019. I will, of course, like I said, Everfree would be a great con to go to, but it's all the way in Seattle. I'm here in Little Indiana, and it's very far away, and financially, it's hard enough to fund one convention, let alone what we're going to try to do in 2019, going to two, going to TrotCon. But we're going to try. We're going to try to get it done. In terms of Winnie City, for us, that is taking off, or at least getting the ball rolling. I did book our hotel for that weekend. Another new one for us. We've stayed. Let's see. First one, we stayed at the Comfort Suites, which is right next to Tilted Kilts. We had great eating options, and the fitness center that we liked. Last year, we did the Days Inn, and it was right next to the IHOP. So, again, we ate well again. So we keep getting lucky with these. This year, we've looked at a lot of options, and we are staying at the Hyatt House, which is actually not far. It's about a mile from the Regency, so not very far at all. It looked really nice, great amenities, so we're looking forward to that. So very, very exciting there. We're probably getting our badges here pretty soon. Last year I got them around Black Friday because they had the Black Friday special. I mean, once the website comes up, I'm hoping that the registration kicks off. I'm hoping that we can get the ball rolling on that. So we'll be set for Winnie City next April. Now, in terms of TrotCon, I found it really interesting with Trot that they're not only their theme next year is like steampunk, which looks really, really cool. But apparently, when you do the registration, you have to pick a faction. I find that interesting. I don't know what that entails. I don't know if any of you have been to TrotCon and you can fill me in on that. That'd be really cool. But this year, for this coming 2019, you're either a cog or a sprocket. And me, when I did mine, I'm thinking, okay, cog. Cog sounds like a kind of a real negative word. I don't want to be a cog, so I picked being a sprocket. I picked being a sprocket, and also because naturally you can't spell cozy glow without cog. Now, can you? I want no part of that. So yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. So the ball's starting to roll on our convention plans for next year. Really hoping to make both happen. Well, Winnie for sure. I mean, that's, if anything, Winnie City is our, it's like a tweet, it's our home convention. It's our home now. We will always support that. But if we can make TrotCon happen too in Columbus, that would be awesome. Really looking forward to a new experience and second convention to see. Cider Fest is also a possibility for future. I know this year, this next weekend actually is Cider Fest, and they're going to have a huge music festival event. I think like 36 different Brony musicians are going to be there, which is outstanding. They're doing like an album for charity too, which is awesome. So to everyone, Cider Fest for next weekend, to Charlie and the staff, everybody, good luck to you all. Of course, you don't need it. You're going to kill it. I know that. Good luck to all the attendees going. Everyone, have fun, have a blast. To the vendors, everybody, make a lot of money. Just have a great time. It's definitely look like it's going to be another awesome event, and it always seems to be a good time. So maybe in the future, maybe we'll try to get us up to Milwaukee to go to Cider Fest 1 year or two, or as long as they have it. So. Exciting there. So, yay. So, good luck to Cider Fest. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Battlebots. Recently wrapped up its, if you want to be technical, overall, its seventh season? Eighth season. Eighth. Yeah, because there was 5 in the Comedy Central, 2 on ABC, 1. Yeah, so 8th overall. But 3rd in more recent times after the 2 seasons on ABC. This was the first season on Science and Discovery Channel, and of course we've been following it, all season long and seeing what would happen. And in the end, it was a very entertaining tournament, a very entertaining round of 16. Again, the one thing that upset me though is like in the Rumble before the last Rumble before the tournament round of 16. With Bombshell getting spot, why was Bombshell even there? Like Bombshell was 0-4 in the regular season. I don't understand what he was even doing in a Last Chance Rumble after the regular season it had. I didn't get it. It didn't make sense to me. And I thought in the final, I thought Duck got robbed. I thought that Duck was doing the best, but they take damage into account, and Duck's really not a damage bot. So I guess I can sort of understand where they're coming from by taking Bombshell there, but I can understand, how the owner, the driver Duck being that depressed. I can understand that. So then we have round of 16, a lot of good bots. With of course Tombstone, the defending champ, would be the #1 seed, obviously. Then drawing Bombshell to 16. Sana Waiachi and Lockjaw, 2 very destructive bots facing off against each other. Sawblaze, who had a great year, with Jameson Go there going up against Monsoon, the hotshot rookie. And then Minotaur, of course, one of the better bots in the field, taking on Witch Doctor. And then on the other side of the bracket, you had Ice Wave, who was absolutely tearing apart bots all season long, going up against Rotator. Bite Force, the first ABC season champ in 2015, taking on Huge. I'm surprised that Huge even got in as well, considering how tore apart it got by Ice Wave in its last fight before the tournament. It got literally split in half. I was surprised that Huge made the field. Yeti taking on Whiplash, and then Bronco going up against Warhawk. So a lot of good fights, a lot of good matches. So you had the left side of the bracket first, and it opened up right away with an absolute stunner. It was a rematch, of course, from the final battle in 2016 when Tombstone won the title, taking out Bombshell, who made it a surprising run as a wild card. And made a stunning run to get to the final. I think even took out Minotaur along the way. So it was a big surprise. And it was an even bigger surprise when Bombshell actually won the first fight, stunned Ray Billings and Tombstone, the defending champ, in a knockout in 1 minute 57 seconds. Just unbelievable how he managed to do it. He took out, the chain came off of Tombstone, and then Tombstone just basically stopped itself by running over its own chain. Just absolutely stunning, and it shocked everybody. But it also, what that did was it left the field then wide open. The tournament at that point was wide open. If the 16th seed could take out the number 1 like that and a defending champ, then the field became wide open. Lockjaw then took out Son of Waiachi in a very good fight. I've always had a lot of respect for Donald Hudson and Lockjaw on that team. One of my favorite teams to follow over the years. I mean, for God's sakes, the guys won 2 championships, 6 giant nuts in total. He's just been one of the anchors of the sport, and he continues to impress. And Lockjaw had to literally earn their way into the tournament. Remember, they started off season 1 and 2. But then they entered the Desperado tournament midway point of the season, and they won it. So they got in with that, and they impressed right out of the box, and then won a judge's decision over Son of Waiachi, who's a very solid bot, and normally whose fights go to knockout. They normally don't go to a judge's decision because that bot is just so well designed, although oddly designed with the way it's built, but also the way it just has. It's a devastating hit bot. That's the way it does it, and so. You just it's all that power, but Lockjaw did enough in the end. Also, another upset. There were a lot of upsets in this tournament this year. Monsoon beating Sawblaze by judge decision, but Monsoon was the dominant bot in that fight with that vertical spinner and being able to eliminate Sawblaze's saw, that primary weapon. The flamethrower didn't do much. So Monsoon totally dominated that fight, and it was an unanimous decision there, so good win for them. But then they drew Minotaur, who continued to just knock out the competition, easily took out Witch Doctor in 1:39. Just dominant most of the season. Aside from the loss to Tombstone, Minotaur was very, very dominant this season, and just continue to take out the competition. Then the semifinals, Lockjaw did quick work of Bombshell. 1 hit and done. Didn't even get out of here, Bombshell. Didn't even let him do anything. It was just 1 hit, and then Bombshell started smoking right away. Lockjaw won it in 36 seconds, and then Minotaur took out Monsoon in a minute, another knockout. So just 2 very dominant bots that were now going to meet up on the left-hand side of the bracket. Then on the right-hand side, another big upset when Rotator took out Ice Wave, and not only took it out, but almost disembodied it. What Ice Wave been doing to bots most of the season, Rotator did to Ice Wave. Literally destroyed its engine compartment on top of the bot. Completely destroyed it. Those 2 lethal double discs, just lethal. And Rotator won by unanimous decision. Then Bite Force, the 2015 champ, kept its record perfect, beating Huge in a knockout. Again, kind of Huge beating itself because it split apart again. So clearly was not very well held together after getting split by Ice Wave. So Bite Force won in 1:37 by knockout. Whiplash, what a story Whiplash was with the Vasquez family. Matt Vasquez, great driving, just a great bot, and took down Yeti, one of the big ones of the sport, by unanimous decision in the first round. And then Bronco took out Warhawk by knockout in 1:38. But then Bronco was defeated by Whiplash in an excellent battle. If you've not seen the Bronco Whiplash fight, you need to check that one out because that was one of the better fights of the season. It was back and forth intense, but Whiplash in the end got the upper hand, knocked out Bronco with 3 seconds to spare before it went to the judges. Now, had it gone to the judges, it may have gone to Whiplash anyway because he was clearly controlling the fight, but I don't think it would have been unanimous. I think it would have been a split at the worst. Whiplash probably still would have won. But getting a knockout is just that much sweeter, especially against one of the greats of the sport in Bronco. So big win there for the Vasquez family. But then they drew Bite Force, who easily knocked out Rotator in 1:20. Again, Paul Ventimiglia and that team, another outstanding job this season with Bite Force. Even though they redesigned it a bit from what they had in 2015 when Bite Force won the title, it's still lethal. It's still a lethal bot. Its spinner can do a lot of damage, and the way it drives, it's just unbelievable. So then we had the finale 12 days ago on October 10th. Minotaur took out Lockjaw by knockout in 1:34. Minotaur continued its dominance. The Reignited team thought that this was their year. With Tombstone now out, they felt like this was their best chance. This was their moment. But they would have to do it against Bite Force in order to do it. Took out the Vasquez family, took out Whiplash in 1:30 by knockout. And in the end, in a absolutely outstanding championship fight between Minotaur and Bite Force, went back and forth. But Bite Force did it. Bite Force won its second giant nut in the last 3 years, knocked out Minotaur in 2:05. Absolutely outstanding job, a great fight. Again, if you want to watch some more of, want to watch that one, please do so. It was an epic fight. Paul Ventimiglia and Bite Force, absolutely outstanding job. No shame to Minotaur. I know they won a giant nut. I know they won it bad. They're a great team. It's like they won so many titles overseas. The Battlebots are really the only one that really they don't have. But I think they will eventually get one. It might not be next season. It might be a couple seasons in a row. I think they're eventually going to get one. I mean, the competition, yes, it does get more intense. It does get tighter every single year with these all kinds of bots coming in. But usually it is the big names. It's the big guns that are there at the end. And I think Minotaur eventually will get one. It just depends on – it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But you got to applaud Paul Ventimiglia, Bite Force, his whole team for the job that they did. Just absolutely outstanding. And hats off to Bite Force. Great job. Keep on rocking. I mean, and hopefully there'll be another season coming up. Hopefully that will be the case. Nothing official yet from Science Channel or Discovery or what have you, or even BattleBots Twitter account itself. But hopefully there will be another season around the corner very, very soon. So can't wait for that. Yeah. All right. Real quick before we get into the episodes, let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about Spyro. And because coming out here in a couple weeks on November 13th, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy is coming out for Xbox One and PS4. Maybe later on down the line for the Nintendo Switch. We'll see about that. There are kind of talks going on between the developer and Nintendo if it might come to the Switch, because Crash Bandicoot came to the Switch and it's done immensely well. So the demand is going to be high for Switch players, to play Spyro on the Switch. So, but yeah, the Reignited Trilogy was originally supposed to be out in September, but then shortly before the game release was supposed to release on the 21st, they came out and said, okay, we got to push it back a couple months. It still needs some tender love and care. It needs, to be the best it can be. So we're going to push it back to November. So they're putting it now right in the heart of the holiday season, and maybe that's a good move. I mean, yes, there are a lot of games coming out this time of year, so the competition is going to be very fierce. But if Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, is any indication of what this game is going to do, it's going to succeed. It's going to be successful, and I cannot be any more excited. Of course, as you can tell, If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Spyro fan. I'm a huge Dragon fan in general. I love anything doing with dragons. Spyro, Cinder, Smolder, Ember. I mean, I've been a Dragon fan for a lot of my life, and I remember growing up, I played Spyro on the PlayStation 1, and it was just so much fun. It was a fun game. It's a fun platform to play, and it's really entertaining. So I love this. I'm glad this seemed kind of inevitable in a way. You know, once the Crash's trilogy came out and it was such a big success, and then here's the thing with Crash. Crash at first was just on the PS4 only. Like, it was only on the PS4. But after it took off and after it started selling really well, that the demand then increased. Oh, why isn't Crash on the Xbox, or why isn't it on the Switch? So the gamers, of course, wanted it on the other platforms, and eventually they got what they wanted. So now they're going to release the Spyro Reignited Trilogy on the PS4 and the Xbox One at launch. Maybe again, and I would, but it would not shock me down the line if it came to the Switch later. So because there's going to be a demand for it, especially after Crash has done so well on the Switch as well. And the Crash trilogy really stayed true to the original games. It really did. It's a little bit harder, but that's the challenge of it. And I own the Crash trilogy, and I love the game, and it's so much fun to play. And the challenge is there. So I'm hoping that's what they do with Spyro. But the developer, Toys for Bobby, came out and said, no, it's true to the original trilogy, to Spyro the Dragon, to Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. It's still to the same things. The gems are still in the same locations. The dragons are still in the same locations. Everything is true. It's just completely remastered, but it's true to the original games. Even the voice actors are reprising a lot of their roles. Tom Kenny, who originally did Spyro's voice, is doing it here. And Spyro's had a lot of great voice actors over the years. Tom Kenny, Carlos Lazarqui, who you remember from Rocco. It was Rocco and Rocco's Modern Life. Let's see. Elijah Wood did Spyro for a time. And now Justin Long does it in the Skylanders series. So, Skylanders Academy, I should say. So there have been a lot of great voice actors. I mean, Jess Harnell also did Spyro for a time. So there have been many great voice actors that have done Spyro's voice, but Tom Kenny did it first, and he's coming back to reprise his lines for the remastered version, which is awesome. So very, very cool. The graphics that I've seen online look amazing. It looks great. Now, there is one, and I know this is nitpicky. Okay, I'm going to say this before I even say it. I know this is nitpicky, but I notice these things. I notice little details. I notice these little nitpicks. In the remaster, they gave Spyro like a fourth claw. They gave him like a thumb. They gave him like something. He's always had three. He's always had three. He's never had four. Not in this. Not in the Skylander series. He's never had four before. So, little bit of a nitpick by me, and I know everyone's saying, "Oh, you're nitpicky." That's nitpicky. Okay, so I'm nitpicky. So, but whatever. So yeah, so I guess maybe that will be helpful in the game. I don't know. Why else would they give it to him if it wasn't? Give Spyro a fourth claw if it wasn't going to be helpful in the game? I hope that's the case. We shall see. But so I just noticed that, and I'm like, oh, that's not exactly in tune with how he's been all his life. But okay, so that has to mean for something. It has to mean for something in the game at some point. So here's to hoping. Here's to hoping. All right, it's all led up to this. Let's talk about the episodes. Let's talk about the recent episodes. And then we will get to the finale. And I do have it. I have Dailymotion pulled up, so hopefully this will work. Let's start with episode 23. Let's talk about Sounds of Silence, a.k.a. the Kieran episode. I know that I'm in the minority when I am talking about this. I know I am, okay? Calm your Neric fire at me right now, because I know that I'm going to get a lot of for this. But I I did not like this episode. I'm not fond of the Kieran. The Nirik actually did give me nightmares. I tweeted about it. If you haven't read the tweet, I will tell you the story. The day after I watched the episode, the night of after I watched the episode, I had a nightmare involving the Nirik, and I'm in my pony form, and it's darkness all around, like a dark room, and I'm just sitting there, and then all of a sudden the Kieran start like marching in a circle, and they're chanting, "Why don't you like us?" And before I can even say anything, boom, they turn to Nirik's, and then their voices, of course, get deeper, and they keep going, "Why don't you like us?" So it's freaking me out, obviously. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting tackled by a Nirik, and we're plunging into this, continual darkness, and I wake up in a hot sweat, naturally. And I was just like, oh my gosh, these things. This scared me to death. And then I posted on Twitter the best case and worst case scenarios. Best case scenario for this is that the Nirik turns out to be my wonderful, smart changeling Ocellus in disguise. And she said, I'm sorry that I pulled this prank on you. It was pretty good, wasn't it? And we come out of the darkness, and we land in a nice spot in Equestria by a waterfall, and I'm there, and Ocellus is there, and Starlight's there, and Smolder's there, and we just spend the day together sharing stories. That would be best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we land in a cage, the Nirik and I, and it turns out that the Nirik is none other than Autumn Blaze, and she annoys me with her stories and her singing. I'm sorry. This episode, the premise just seemed odd from the start. Like, the fact that we had a friendship mission this late in the season, that to me also had like an odd vibe to it. Like, we're almost done with the season, and now we're having a map mission. It just seemed like an odd placement. And the plot of it with the Kieran having such an issue that they take a vow of silence or a silence potion, or eventually found out they're going into the water. So it just seemed odd. It's pretty sad when, to me, the episode left you speechless for the wrong reasons afterward. I'm just sitting at the TV watching it going, like, what the buck did I just watch? Like, I was just like so stunned. Autumn Blaze to me is annoying. She's an annoying character, probably even more so than Princess Skystar or Silverstream, and that's saying a lot. I just could not stand her character, the fast talking and all of that, and it grinded my gears. And Applejack in this episode trying way too hard to get the Kieran to speak. That was like CMC level awkward, like with the cutie marks when the Crusaders were faking a fight with each other. Like, it was just awkward on so many levels. Fluttershy in this episode, again, with her character development, wavering back and forth to being bold when she tells Applejack to listen to her, and then being scared again of the Nirik. Like which is it? What? I don't know. Like, so many errors with continuity. Then the Kieran turning into the Nirik because of their differences, that isn't exactly a total shock. I guess that makes sense. I don't understand the fandom's fascination with him. I don't get it. I don't get what the uproar is about. The song was just it's just so weird. And people are saying the song is better than Friendship Always Wins or Road to Friendship. Not in my opinion. I'm sorry. No, it was odd, weird placement, weird moment to me. So and I know I'm in the minority on that, but I don't get it. So and then Applejack and Fluttershy not agreeing what the friendship problem was. That was weird. So then the Kierans are like, oh, this is they're looking at each other going, oh, this is not right. This is not good. So now we're gonna silence them. But then Autumn Blaze actually comes in as a Nirik, kind of like in my nightmare, and saves them with this wall of fire. So eventually they have a conversation between the three of them and the Kierans, and they decide that the Kierans eventually they figure out with this kind of odd charades thing. They want the cure. They didn't want the cure to the Stream of Silence. They want the cure for it, but Autumn Blaze used the last of them on herself, supposedly, to cure her not speaking. But then they need to find it. But of course, in a plot twist, plot device, the squirrels from earlier have the flowers. They even saw them with Fluttershy earlier in the episode. They find them. And so eventually the Kierans get their voice back. Learn that anger can be controlled and not dominate you. Autumn Blaze is allowed to move back into the village. And that's it. That's it. I put an abrupt ending with Fluttershy and Applejack going, and that's it. Weird. A weird episode. I only gave this one 4 out of 10 stars because it was just so weird. Like, it's weird. That's toward the end of the season. I found the Kieran weird as creatures. The fact they turn into Nearest because of anger, weird. Autumn Blaze's character, weird and annoying. I don't get the fascination with it. The only thing I really liked was the fact that, Applejack and Fluttershy, they were the ones that solved the mission because they were probably the only ones that could. But again, now that we know from the previous episode that the Tree of Harmony is sentient, Harmony probably knows that already, so that's why they were sent. But it was just weird. It was weird. It left me just a weird feeling of what did I just watch? It was a weird moment. It wasn't as bad as Matter of Principles or Friendship University was by any stretch, but just weird. Just a weird episode. And then we went into a little bit better episode. Not one of the better one. Again, not one of the more elite ones of the season, mind you, but it was a good episode, not great. And I'm pretty sure Josh Haber wrote this episode, Father Knows Beast, episode 24, by the way. And he has written really well this season for Spike. He's with Moltdown. He's written well for Smolder, especially. So Haber's kind of becoming like the Dragon episode expert in a way because he writes really well for them. So this episode I gave 6.5 out of 10. Very much a meh episode. Not bad by any stretch, but not elite. Like, I've only had 10 elite episodes so far. 10 this season. So, and I need to update this just a little bit, I think. Or no, that would have included 24. So, and I don't know, I might, since I'm watching the finale all together, I might just make it one episode. I know it was in 2 parts, but I might just include, I just might make School Raise one full episode in my rankings. That way, I know that, it's all together. I know I did School Days in 2 parts, but I feel like with the finale, since I haven't watched it, since it was all just back to back, I feel, and we're watching all together, I just feel like I'll put that all lumped together in one episode. But Father Knows Beast, this one, again, okay, not great. It was rough at the start, and there were some other rough moments kind of toward the end, but it kind of gets saved again at the end when Smolder and Spike, who are actually becoming a pretty nice duo. Some of them, I think some of the fans are even shipping those two together. Or I know some have read, hey, I'd love for them to find out later that I'd like relatives or something, like Smolder is Spike's sister. That would be very cool, actually. I'm all for that. I am all in favor of that. So when they team up to expose Sludge for the fraud that he was, as I kind of guessed early on, it was kind of obvious. So just kind of some major points in the episode. I thought it was cool to be in the episode that Twilight was still kind of helping Spike learn to improve his flying. I thought that was really cool that she was still teaching him that. But then even cooler, of course, that Smolder comes along and really helps him out. That, again, the bond that they now have, it's really grown throughout the season. Ever since Moltdown, when Smolder was the one that Spolder. You can kind of call them that now if you're shipping them together, Spolder. When Smolder came in and is actually, you know, explaining to Spike about the molting process, ever since then, the bond between them has really increased. Heck, we even saw that in Rockcliffe and A Hard Place when they were, you know, when they have oh yeah, we do this fire breathing contest in the castle in the school all the time. Granted, indoors might not be the safest way to do it, but yeah, we do that now all the time. That's development. That's bonding. That's really showing how much their bond has strengthened. So I love that. So yeah, they're the two major reasons why I love dragons in the show. Although Ember holds her own as well. So then Sludge, of course, comes along like randomly crashes into Ponyville. Like that's not coincidence. Yeah, no. There's got to be something to that. And when Sludge hears about the castle, you know, you see his eyes move. Like, you know, like, yeah, you know at that point he's going to somewhat take advantage of it. And I sensed kind of, you guys, I'm not sure if you guys remember the play The Man Who Came to Dinner, where, you know, the guy gets hurt and then he kind of wears out his welcome and he doesn't want to leave. I felt that vibe here. I don't know if that's what Haber was going for, but I kind of felt that vibe. Yeah, I don't think Sludge is going to want to leave once he moves into the castle. And I nailed it. So, but it was nice to see, though, you know, the main six came together to make sure to get Sludge recovered and that he was, you know, back on his feet and whatnot. They're doing any creature would do in that moment. They're helping a fellow creature in need. But then Sludge kind of dropped a bomb. Oh, yeah, it's not accident that I came here to Ponyville. Gee, we figured that out. Oh, by the way, I'm your dad. And I'm like, whoa, okay, major bomb drop there, you know. But I smelled a rat right away. I'm thinking this doesn't add up. None of what happens here is add up. It's too circumstantial. It doesn't add up. You know, it seemed too random, too unexpected. It doesn't explain how Spike's egg got to Equestria, or why Sludge would just give it up. Like like the numbers the math didn't add up here. Like new math, it didn't add up here right away. So I smelled a rat. And of course, it is explained later, but it's Sludge pulling some story out of thin air. Although the way he told it, the way that Sludge told the story made it believable. So that's why they probably fell for it, because just the way he told it. And I will say, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, the mother kind of looked like Scales. Do you remember Smolder's story back in Hearthwarming Club when about the Feast of Fire? And the little dragon that was in the cave and then took over the throne. That kind of looked like Scales. And I don't know if that was intentional or if that's foreshadowing to come. If that turns out to be true later, that's like, whoa, that would be a total mind blower if that later were true. That would be really, really something. I pointed that out and I'm like, wait a minute, that looks a lot like Scales. So I kept that in mind. Now, Sludge's song in this episode is sweet. It's not, again, one of my favorites of the season, but it was all right. I liked it more than the Kieran song, you know, just annoying. So, but it was, you know, it was all right. The one moment that I loved, the picture of Twilight and Starlight on the wall. I love that. I love seeing that. I love that moment, you know. Star teacher with star pupil / guidance counselor of the year. I love that. So then Sludge tries to convince Spike to move out and wants to get in touch with his inner dragonness. So, but we know from at least I got the sense that was kind of all a ruse, you know, and Spike is waiting on him tail and claw, as Smolder kind of put it later. So again, this is kind of a callback in a way to Spike at your service without the Dragon Code, although I really bet Sludge really wouldn't give a rip about Dragon Code at all. The way he was acting in this episode, he was acting like a jerk, which is the way most of this season has been. As I mentioned, the season of jerks, it's really kind of been that season. So, yeah. The moment, though, another one that got me, when Twilight's heart, when they showed the shot of the pony insides and Twilight's heart literally breaking when Spike said that Twilight was jealous because he now had a real parent. Ooh, that hurt me. That was painful to watch, and that was tough. So that was like a shot to the gut too. It was just painful all around. So Spike now is living outdoors as a result of all this. Spike is doing all this for Sludge, while Sludge though lies around and is just being lazy because he's living the high life. He's now on top of the world. He's living the castle life. He loves it. Yeah, pretty bucking rotten if you ask me. But once again, thanks Celestia for Smolder, because she once again is our voice of reason, because she explains to Spike that, well, yeah, dragons as a nature, yeah, we're rude, we're rebellious, we can be that way, but they are not lazy, and they are not horrible to their children. So if Sludge really were Spike's dad, he would not be treating him that way. Yeah, no father would ever treat their son that way. Although, getting personal here, I can sort of relate to this. Because growing up, I did not have a father. I did not have a father figure growing up. I didn't have it. My mom and my real dad divorced shortly after I was born. I don't have very many memories of my father when I was young. Outside of the fact that in later years we did try to reconcile. We made attempts, but it never felt right. We had times together. We went golfing one day. After my uncle passed away, we came together and he apologized, but it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like true remorse. It didn't, and I was understanding it in that moment. But at the same time, it didn't feel like the full connection was ever going to be there. And in the end, I think for me, that was for the best anyway, because, my mother, bless her heart, had to play both roles and had to raise me herself. And she did and is doing a hell of a job. And I made it, even after that happened, I made other attempts to reach out to him via email, and I never got anything back. And so at that point, I just it was like the stage of acceptance. I was like, okay, at this point, you know what? It is what it is. And it's going to be, if it has to be this way, then it has to be. And you know what? I don't really, I don't feel bad about it at all. I've come to terms with it. I've come to terms with the fact that, I don't need to know more about him. I don't need to know what he's doing. I don't really, I don't need to, I'm not immersing myself in that. I'm not letting that get to me. I'm not worrying about it. And because, what good is worrying going to do? It's not going to add a minute to my life. It's not going to affect me, so, it just, I've come to terms with it, and really, is for the best. I've continued to live my life. I'm independent now. I've got a great job. I've got a great group of friends around me. I've got a great community that I'm a part of. I've got great friends on Twitter. I've got great friends in my work. I've got great friends, here in the city I live in. I can't complain. I'm blessed. I really am, and it wasn't part of God's plan for me in the end, I guess. It really wasn't. And I've come to accept that. So, I can totally relate in a way to this episode. So our dynamic dragon duo, patent pending, of Spike and Smolder, or Spolder, if you will, team up to expose Sludge, and they tell him that since Twilight doesn't like real dragons living in the castle, they're moving out of the castle. And of course, Sludge is like, whoa, wait a minute. Or maybe, as now he and, I think Spolder could be better maybe than Spider. I put Spider on here. I don't know if Spider would really go well for Spike and Smolder, but yeah. So they all battle over a pillow. And I loved it how, as a metaphor, kind of in the middle of the story, after Spike gave Smolder a pillow as a thank you gift for helping him fly, she goes, sorry about that. She goes, well, yeah, dragons don't really do pillows. And yet later they're fighting over a pillow. So I found that to be kind of a funny metaphor. But we really know how much you like cute stuff, Smolder, as we saw in the episode with the Tree of Harmony. But then, Sludge admits it was all a front. He finally admits it. I saw an opportunity. I wanted to take it. But Smolder then keeps saying he's full of it. Sludge flies off in disgust, although he does take the pillow. And eventually, Spike and Twilight reconcile together, and Spike admits he should have realized who his true family was all along. Again, Josh Haber has really shown how to write well for Spike, for Smolder, and even for Twilight, who had a nice episode here. It wasn't great, but good enough to stand up on its own. The ending saved it as it made up for Sludge being a grade A jerk. So that's that episode. So here's the thing. Here were my pre-finale thoughts going into the finale. The young six, the student six, are somehow going to be the heroes. I don't know how, haven't seen yet how that's going to work, but somehow they're going to be the heroes. Now here's the hope, maybe they team up with someone else, like maybe the Pillars who've seen a couple times this season. Dare I even say they team up with the Kieran? I guess I'll accept it. But they will be the major heroes here. They to me, especially after the tree revealed herself, Harmony revealed herself to them, I'm really thinking that they are going to become the new elements of Harmony. Like they're lining up for the students to become the new elements. And maybe it'll happen in the finale. But it really, there's been just too much of a focus on them this season for that not to be the case. I said here the main villain will either be Chancellor Naysay, Cozy Glow, Chrysalis, or a combination of the three. Now, Cozy, obviously, from what I've seen, is obviously going to be the main villain here. But she's got to team up with somebody. I don't know if she can do this alone. And others even mentioned it, that her cutie mark is a rook, which is not a major chess piece. It's a side piece. So she's going to be a sidekick. She's kind of played a spy role to someone else. Naysay would be an obvious choice. We've only seen him twice this season so far, in the premiere, and we saw him when Star Swirl, in Friendship University. But he's been so against the school from the start, I think he has to have some kind of say in the finale. Of course, Cozy Glow, shady from the start. Evil. I know right away. So she's going to be the main. And the ending of What Lies Beneath just made it more obvious she'll have this role to play. Now, Chrysalis failed, of course, in Mean 6 in her attempt to impact it. But she's too determined to get revenge. She's too determined to get revenge on Starlight. She's too determined to get revenge on them to not try again. So who knows? She might have a say in all this. So, or maybe someone completely out of left field. I don't know. The Tree of Harmony obviously is going to have some kind of role. She revealed herself to be sentient in What Lies Beneath. She's going to play a role in this somehow. I have a feeling. Now, we've only seen her so far as just a sparkly version of Twilight, and we've only seen her in that form. But maybe kind of like a changeling, she has been kind of able to take on other forms as her power has grown. So hopefully we get to see that as well. And then I have a feeling, of course, the main six and possibly Starlight as well will probably be captured / incapacitated / temporarily eliminated at some point in the finale. It usually happens at least once. It's got to, in order for the true heroes to to take their stand, for the young six to have their moment. So it's bound to happen at some point here. Aside from that, I have no idea. So that's kind of just my pre-notion. And now I know that Cozy's going to be the main. But aside from that, I have no idea what's going to happen. So, so again, I knew the title was School Race, so I knew that much. So that would imply that someone or multiple someones will put an end to the school or do something of that regard. So, and I hope that it didn't flop, because like the last two finales were great. 4 and 5 was a bit of a rough taste, but most have been very, very good. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into this. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. So I'm going to pull this up. Again, I'm hoping that this works. So, and again, as I watch it, you know, if I have to, I'm sure that at some points I'll have to, the wonder of watching on your phone and not seeing it in a live sense is you can pause it throughout points and give commentary on what's going on. So here's to hoping that this happens. So without further ado, here we go. I hope this works. Oh, Derpy. Oh, here she comes already. Oh, ouch. Cozy catching the mail.
Thank you for the mail delivery. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, geez, yeah. You're so smiley now. What are you doing?
You're new here, right? I'm Cozy Glow, Professor Sparkle's friendship assistant. Welcome to our school.
Wait a minute. You're the friendship assistant? When did you get promoted to that? Okay, first off, when did you get promoted to that position, number one? Because we never saw that. I guess I suppose that happened off screen. And number two, Cozy is the last filly or pony or whoever that you should give that title to. They could, of course, the main six could not have seen this coming. I mean, we see it as observers. They could not have seen that coming. Wow.
First class is just down that hall.
Okay. We're going to see new ponies getting involved. Oh, hi, Silverstream.
A 7-letter word for teamwork. Have you tried synergy? That's it. Thanks, Cozy. What are friends for?
Yeah, right.
Good morning, Professor Sparkle. The mail's here already. What time is it? I'm late for my class's field trip to Cloudsdale.
Oh, jeez.
Don't worry. I asked Professor Rainbow Dash to cover for you. And she said yes.
Wow, that's
I told
surprising.
her how busy you are and how much her loyalty meant to you. I also color-coded your teaching schedule by friendship element and cataloged all the magical artifacts of the school. I hope that's okay. Okay? Cozy, that's amazing. You're like my right-hook pony. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Oh, boy.
It's like you taught me. Helping is what friendship's all about. Exactly. And hopefully my class is learning that on their field trip right now. I heard they might do some sightseeing first.
Okay. Whoa.
The Pegasus Weather Factory.
Woo, the Weather Factory.
Rain or flake of snow from Cloudsdale comes prepared. Wow. I know, right?
Nice.
Hey, the cool stuff's over here. Wow. I've never seen a cloud before. You can't normally, but for our trip, I cast a spell that lets us walk like pigsty.
Nice, Starlight. That's awesome.
Hey, Yoda, come check out this view. Unless you're too scared.
Oh, Gallus.
Yoda, not scared.
Oh. Oh, my. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, on that. What is it with Yona nearly dying like a couple times this season? Like that has become a recurring thing too. Like, okay, like she nearly drowned in non-compete clause, the thing with the spiders with her worst fear, and now this with falling through the cloud. Yona has either had some really bad luck or it's just like a running gag from the show. Like, I don't know. Like, wow. I will applaud Starlight though for you know, because going to Cloudsdale, remember again, you know, non-Pegasi fall through the clouds, but Starlight cast the spell to. Well, then why would that explain? Wait a minute. Okay. So if Starlight cast the spell to keep them up there, and now Yona's falling through the cloud, something had to have happened. Cozy, I'm telling you, she's doing something. She is up to no good. She is doing something to mess with the magic. She's clearly doing something. I know she's starting out all innocent and though like helping everyone and yada 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 and all this and being Twilight's assistant and all. She is up to no good. I know it for a fact. Yeah, I'll mute, of course, the intro, but yeah, she is clearly up to no good. Like something's going on there. So wow. But how can she be doing that by herself? It doesn't make any sense. She's got to have someone helping her. Whether it's Naysay, Chrysalis, I don't know who else. Somebody's got to be helping her do this. All right, here we go. Oh boy, somebody please save Yona. Oh yeah, Starlight's magic isn't working. And now they're all down. Yep. She shut off the magic somehow. Yay, Neocellus, yay, Gallus. Thank you. Flying, not falling.
I don't understand. It's like my spell stopped working. That's never happened before. We have an emergency. The students dropped out of the sky. Slow down. What happened? I cast a spell for our field trip to Cloudsdale, but my magic just failed.
Yeah.
We barely caught every pony in time.
Yes.
I'm glad you're all okay, but I'm sure it's nothing to worry about, Starlight. Maybe you did your spell wrong. Let's take a look.
Oh gosh, yeah, right.
I didn't drop that book. Maybe you did your spell wrong.
Nah.
Ow! Barry ran into the door. My magic is gone! I even had to use my horns to pluck my tail! You think
Yikes.
there's nothing to worry about? This doesn't make any sense.
No, it
Magic
doesn't.
can't just disappear. Something has to be causing this. Didn't we learn in class about a creature that eats magic? Tartar something?
Tartar? T-Rex? What? What? Okay, whoa. Wow. Okay, yeah, we knew T-Rex was in Tartarus prison. How is that possible? How can he be doing that from Cozy Glow's got to be helping T-Rex. It only makes sense. Cozy Glow is T-Rex's little spy, little sidekick, little planter, and that's how he's doing it. I would never have guessed T-Rex. Wow. That was season 4. It's 4 seasons ago that we saw T-Rex. Wow. I'm blown away. Like, I would never have assumed T-Rex. That's crazy. Whoa.
Thanks. I've never had a letter get stuck before. It's from Princess Celestia. We've all been called to an emergency meeting in Canterlot.
Of course.
Pretty sure I know what it's about.
Yeah, obviously. This is
Ponies have been reporting tales of their magic failing, spells going wrong, potions not working. Even raising the moon has become difficult. Are there similar troubles in Ponyville? We experienced it firsthand. It's the same in my kingdom. The Crystal Heart seems safe for now, but I worry if this continues.
Letter for the princesses from Star Swirl the Bearded.
Oh, from Star Swirl.
It is even more terrible than we feared. Magic is disappearing all across Equestria.
All across Equestria.
Star Swirl believes the power will drain from our land in 3 days. First, unicorn magic and spells will fail. That's what's happening now.
Yes.
On the second day, creatures will lose their magic abilities.
Oh no.
And finally, magical artifacts will stop working. When the sun sets on the 3rd day, the magic in our world will be gone. Forever.
Ooh.
Why is this happening now? That's the worst part.
They don't know.
Has anybody checked on T-Rex? You mean the big red scary centaur who eats magic?
Yes. Yes.
If he has found some way to escape his prison or work from within it, he could be responsible for this.
Duh.
That is the best explanation so far. Some pony should investigate. We'll go. Oh, no. Not Wait. Did you say
we? Yes, we.
I finally learned that it's okay to count on your friends for help. You do want to come, right?
Duh.
Thank you all. We will search for ways to protect Equestria in your absence. Be careful.
Oh, you better.
Tartarus has changed since you were there. It now holds many dangerous creatures, and you won't be able to rely on your magic.
With her
Right.
that, she won't have to.
I was gonna say, do remember back at the when Starlight, Discord, Thorax, and Trixie saved Equestria, they had to do it without magic. Do remember. So this is another one of those circumstances that they will probably have to do it again. Of course, it's kind of been maybe a recurring theme. I mean, that's the one that I recall. But there's been times where their magic has either been not working, cut off, interrupted, something to that effect, and they've had to do it a different way. So here we are again at that same circumstance where it's happened again. But man, Cozy and Tyrek, I never would have guessed. I'm still blown away by that. I'm still blown away by that.
Okay, I left you my lesson plan, all my student files, and my annotated syllabus notes. If anything goes wrong, get Celestia. Got it. Maybe I should just close the school and send my students home? Would you go save Equestria already?
Okay, Cozy packed us all up for a trip to Bad Guy Central.
Don't forget the sandwiches. I might choose to do this just in case. Starlight can't stand mustard.
That's so sweet of you, Cozy. But Twilight has asked me to stay here to run the school.
Oh, I thought that after what happened last time.
Once you survive Discord, anything else is a piece of cake.
Plus, she'll have you to...
Cozy, of course, hates that because Cozy, of course, doesn't want any pony or creature to stay behind because she, of course, wants to put her master plan into action. That's why she's upset, because she knows that if Starlight stays behind, there's no chance that she puts her master plan, or at least the plan for Tyrek, into action. So she knows that if anyone stays behind and she gets figured out, that's why she's upset. Just give him that pouty face. I love it.
Oh, golly, yes! I promise I'll be the best assistant ever! Come on, we can start
Or the
working
worst.
on headwear plans right now if you like.
Wow, okay.
What was that? What was that?
See? Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, right.
Tell me there's nothing to worry about.
There's a lot to worry about, Twilight. There's a lot to worry about, actually.
Good morning, friendship students. I know we're all sad Professor Sparkle is away, but don't worry, because she left me in charge to do things just the way she would.
Worst thing ever.
I thought Starlight Glimmer was going to be temporary head mayor.
She was, but she left me this note. I have to go. Twilight needs my help. I know the school is in good hopes with you, Cozy. Isn't that...
You locked her up, didn't you? You locked Starlight up somehow, didn't you? Yeah, because Starlight was going to be head mayor, but then, of course, you said the thing about head mayor plans. You put her away somewhere, didn't you? Ooh, you little... I'm not going to say it. It's a word that rhymes with witch. Oh, you are so diabolical. You are so terrible. And Starlight sensed this too, because remember what she said when Cozy was first there? So that's devious. That was all the clue you needed. Oh, you are so bad.
That's sweet. We won't let Starlight down, will we?
It's just kind of weird, isn't it?
I don't know what you mean.
Like, why'd she change her mind? Why did Starlight write a note instead of say goodbye to us herself?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Thank you, Smolder.
Oh, Smolder, you forget. We're not scheming dragons. We're ponies. Sounds like some creature needs to do a little extra friendship homework.
Yeah, not pony either. If Smolder get homework, you'll not get homework. Me too. I'm in.
Yeah! Homework party!
Nice. Gallus.
Fine.
What loyalty. Professor Rainbow Dash would be so proud. You are such good friends. You are! And I'm grateful because it will be awfully hard running a whole school alone. Can I count on each of you to help me? Yeah! Thank
you so much. It's just like our professors taught us. Together, we can get through anything.
Oh boy. More stupid flighters.
I have had it with these horrible flies.
Okay, those aren't flighters. There's the regular flies? Okay, so there's flies and there's flighters. Interesting.
Bite your tongue. It's for decorative purposes only. Hey, I didn't know we packed green cupcakes.
Ew.
We didn't.
Gross.
That's gone bad without magic to keep them cold. Magic this, magic that. We don't need
Yuck.
magic to go on a little hike.
Yeah, the rain.
You were saying? You just need to think more like earth ponies, y'all. Granny's apple core, no bite, no more. That'll keep the flies off.
Ew.
It smells just like it last. Even if our food's spoiled, these blueberries are still good to eat. Too bad we can't do anything about
There you go. Use the resources at your disposal.
I can't that score by myself, but I can still help.
There you go. Rainbow Dash doing some cloud work.
I think
There
we
you
have all
go.
the magic we need right here.
Nice.
Not that I don't want to get it back.
Of course not. Hi, Sandbar.
Cupcakes today, and she made all of us friendship bracelets. She is the nicest pony I've ever met. I'm so glad she's heading there.
You all are falling for it, aren't you? You all are going to be so duped and look so ridiculous when the truth comes out. Oh, gosh. Sometimes I wonder, are the ponies just that dense sometimes? I hate to use that word, but it's like, are they just not privy? But Cozy Glow should win an Oscar, an Emmy, a Tony, a Grammy for Best Actress, because the way she's pulling this off is masterful. Don't get me wrong. It's master class. The way that she has done this all season is nothing short of master class. But wow, I mean, the way she's doing this, I don't know. Again, I don't know how she's doing it with T-Rex, and that I'm sure will be shown. But they are just falling for this hoof, line, and sinker, literally.
Temporary head mayor, right, guys?
Oh, of course. But if Twilight takes her time coming back, I won't mind.
Yeah, that's real smooth.
Finally! We thought you forgot about Study Club.
Sorry I'm late. Cozy Glow gave her class tickets to a Sapphire Shores concert in Ponyville tonight.
You get the feeling Cozy's trying too hard to make us like her?
Or
Yes.
maybe she just wants to help us keep our minds off of how scary it is that magic's disappearing. I don't trust her. What's she up to behind those big eyes? And
Thank you, Smolder. Smolder's always the
Why
smart one.
Cozy Pony coming out catacombs so late at night?
Really? Oh, boy.
Let's go ask her.
The young six are onto her.
This is the only door to Tartarus. The good news is, the seal isn't broken. So we know T-Rex didn't escape.
Let me guess. You got bad news, too.
Last time I was here, I had to use magic to get in. And according to Star Swirl, all unicorn magic was gone by
gone.
yesterday's sunset. Maybe he was wrong.
Yep. Gone.
Don't worry, Twilight. I got this. 3 pizza delivery.
Of course, Pinky.
Always worked before. Oh, well.
Did any of y'all pack something that could actually help?
These all do magic, but not the kind we're looking for, I'm afraid. How about this? The key of unfettered entrance. Where did you find this, Spike? In your bag. Cozy Glow must have packed it for you. She really did think of everything. What does it...
Of course, because she wants you in there. Because I'm sure she might end up locking you in there, too. Of course. Cozy, you're a brilliant, masterful, deviant. You're still evil, but you're still bad. But you're bad. And I hate to say, but she's bad in a good way. Like she makes bad look good. Okay. Like the way she's, again, give her an Emmy, give her an Oscar. She's like, the way that she has done this she's the most devious villain probably since Chrysalis. Like, she is like taking almost pages out of her book. Like, she's, although Chrysalis isn't that smart, but Cozy's clearly a bucking genius.
What does it do? It can magically open any door, and since artifacts like this haven't lost their power yet,
Of course, it's going to open the door. Oh boy.
I guess it only works once.
I guess.
Do something, Fluttershy! Don't look at it! It'll turn you to stone! I don't feel like stone! Unless it's really bouncy stone. I think he lost his magic too.
Aww.
All the creatures here must have.
Except for one.
Star Swirl said that would happen on the second day. I know it should make me feel safer, but it just makes me sad. We gotta fix this.
Somehow. What are you up to, little Philly? Chancellor Nasa, you son of...
Oh golly, she's away at her.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew he'd be involved too. So it's him, Cozy, and T-Rick? It was too obvious. It was too obvious. He's been against this school from the very start. It was too obvious. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was just too obvious. But the weird thing is, for a pony to work with him, when he even said it's Pony's way of life that needs to be defended, but now Philly is turning. Wow, this is so beyond. Wow, I mean, again, I kind of saw a little bit of it because I knew Cozy would be involved, and then Naysay now involved, but the T-Rex thing still blows my mind. But all three, wow, this is yikes.
Request. I'm watching the school for her.
Magic is failing across our land, and she left a fool in charge of this facility?
Yes, sir. Is there anything I can do for you?
That won't be necessary. Twilight's folly stops here. As of now, I am head stallion, and I have quite a few changes to make.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's going to be lovely. Yeah. That's going to be just lovely. And where did he come from? He pops up out of nowhere and just has Cozy been seeing him every single night? Like, what? That doesn't add up at all. Like, I don't understand where that is coming from. And now, of course, he's going to blame this on Twilight leaving the school in charge of Cozy Glow, not knowing that Cozy Glow's maybe they're not working together. I don't know. I'm confused on that at this point. I don't understand. Are they working together? Are they not? That doesn't add up at all. And now saying that he's going to be head mayor instead of Cozy, it's kind of like, okay, they're not working together. They're going to butt heads or something. And it's like, wow, I'm totally mind blown. I'm mind blown in a lot of ways. This is shaping up to be one of the better finales of the show. This is shaping up to be something really, really intriguing. Holy cow. All right, now back to Tartarus.
If all these monsters lost their magic, then getting past Cerberus should be easy peasy. Oh, get out!
Yikes. Dogs.
Talk to him. Excuse me, puppy. You're a very good guard dog, yes you are. But, we were wondering if we could get by to check on T-Rick.
Aww.
That looks like a yes.
Ew.
I'll get you a towel, darling.
Yes, you really want to talk to Tira.
Friendship here for a visit. What have I done to earn the honor of your company?
We want answers, T-Rex. Magic is disappearing from Equestria.
I know. What a waste of such delicious power.
What are you up to?
So you are behind this!
Silly filly. If I had all that magic, do you think I'd still be locked up in here?
And that is a valid point.
I might know something about it.
What are you doing? Those are Twilight student files.
These aren't. Not anymore. With Equestria under attack, ponies must stand together. Twilight has endangered us all by skipping off on friendship trips while these dangerous creatures run loose.
He is so speciesist. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he is. So now wait. So now are we gonna see a butting of heads between Naysay and Cozy Glow now? Like, and I still don't know what Cozy's motive is here. Like, I don't. Obviously, I think she's the one that's making the magic disappear. I know that for a fact. Tyrek is claiming no responsibility, which blows my mind. But then they after Tyrek said, okay, how you know, if I had something to do with it, why would I still be locked up here? It panned right to Naysay. How? Well, okay, but he's a unicorn, right? So he would have no magic. He would have no way of doing this. How? This is like, I don't know. It's kind of like now, like, who's the true villain? Like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, this is total mind blower.
You don't think they're the reason magic is disappearing, do you?
Yes, I came to warn Twilight. But since she is gone, it falls to me to protect you foes from these monsters.
Not yeah, but it's also on me.
Did you hear something?
It sounded like it came from over there.
You again, as I suspected.
Oh no, how does he still have magic? Okay, then he's got to be the one doing it. Okay, he's got to, okay. Yeah, if he still has magic, then he's the one behind it. It's got to be. I mean, it's okay. So that doesn't explain any. This is confusing the crap out of me, because you would think that Cozy is behind it somehow, unless she's just playing second fiddle to Naysay again with her acting skills. Naysay still has magic. How? That doesn't make any sense. So now he locks up the students. So now everyone's getting locked up. The student 6 are now going to be locked up. I'm sure Starlight's locked up somewhere. The main 6 are probably going to end up locked up in Tartarus. And it's going to be Naysay and Cozy Glow trying to, I hate to pun the Maurice LaMarche pun, but take over the world. This doesn't make any sense.
From now on, this school is pony only, as nature intended.
Oh, shut up, you speciesist.
Since you refuse to explain your plot against Equestria and return the magic you stole,
it's not them, you dummy!
Guardians to take you home.
Wait! You were right about them from the beginning, Chancellor. I see that now.
What did you say?
Sandbar?
Anything to do with creatures that could threaten Equestria.
Sandbar?
Good, Colt. Every pony will come to their senses.
What the hell? No, this totally goes against Hearthswarming Club. Or not Hearthswarming Club. What Lies Beneath? This totally goes against that. Sandbar even said his biggest fear was betraying his friend and being selfish. This wow. I have no words. This is totally, although again, maybe it goes back to how I felt about Sandbar at the start of the season. Because do remember, he kind of felt like the odd one from the beginning because his parents weren't at Friends and Family Day, and I kind of had an odd vibe on him from the start. I don't believe this. So to recap, Chancellor Neisei still has magic somehow. Maybe he's the real villain. Maybe Cozy Glow is still the real villain, but we don't know. Her acting skills are Emmy-worthy. T-Rex maybe is somehow involved in this, but maybe not. And Sambar now just did the thing that he had the biggest fear of and what lies beneath. Leaving his friends behind. And this is all in part 1. I'm dumbfounded. I don't know what to make of all this. Oh, and everyone else, by the way, is getting locked up. This is absolutely nuts. This is nuts.
Eventually.
This is absolutely nuts. I'm doing apples. Apple bloom? Yikes.
What in tarnation?
Sorry, I ran out of apples. I need the Cutie Mark Crusaders. My friends are in trouble. Chancellor Neisei locked them up.
Huh? I thought Cozy Glow was in charge.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. So he did that to enlist other help. Okay. Okay. So that's the intent. Okay. So it's not full on betrayal. I hope they don't see it that way. I hope then that Gallus, Smolder, Silverstream, Yona, and Ocellus don't see it as betrayal. I'm hoping they don't. Because that's of course how I see it just on the surface as betrayal. But no, he's actually trying to get more help. Okay. That makes a little more sense for Sambar's character.
You guys are good buddies. If you can convince her to distract Neisei, I can break out my friends. Will you help me?
Do mulberries have seeds?
That's a yes.
Where's Equestria's magic going, T-Rex? What's making it disappear?
If you let me out, I'm sure you'll jog my memory. What do you say? I scratch your back, you scratch mine?
How about you tell us what you know, or you'll be stuck here forever because we're out of magic keys and no pony can open the door?
That's a good point.
Dear, I hadn't thought of that. We're just as trapped as T-Rex?
Yep.
What a pity. Well, for you, sweet revenge for me. It seems my little protege's plan worked after all.
And there it is! Dun, da, da, da! There it is! T-Rex and Cozy Glow. It has to be. Then again, what is Neisei's role? That still doesn't answer that question. So clearly, Cozy Glow was a ploy by T-Rex all along. So that now is clear. So again, that explains that. But again, it doesn't explain what Neisei's motive is in all this. And it doesn't explain why he still has magic. So yeah, so that still is up in the air here for debate.
Which little protege?
Cozy Glow.
We've never met. We're pen pals. Each letter had so many questions about draining magic.
And you answered them?
But I was bored.
So
I simply
bored.
pointed my pen pal in the right direction.
Can't you just tell us your pen pal's name? I mean, since we're stuck here anyway.
Oh, why not? The irony is too perfect. Her name is...
Cozy Glow!
Cozy Glow. Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw her come down this way when she left her office.
Yep. She's got all the magic elements and Starling.
I'm sorry I had to push you in, but what else could I do? You were going to ruin all my plans. You might get some company soon. I can't make that annoying Neisei back off.
What a face.
All this magic needs time to drain from Equestria before my vortex sucks it to another realm. 3 days can sure seem like forever, huh? You know, you always got it all wrong. Friendship isn't magic. Friendship is power. With Twilight and her lackeys out of my way, all of Equestria will bow to Empress of Friendship!
Wow. Okay. So Cozy Glow is doing this by herself? Well, with T-Rex help. Granted from Tartarus, but yeah, with the letters back and forth. So Neisei clearly is not with her. I think his motive is just the fact that he wants the school run the right way, as has been his MO all season. So he wants the school run the right way, pony only, as always. But now he's the only obstacle standing in Cozy's way of taking over everything, pretty much. Sucking the magic out of Starlight, has the 6 artifacts all together. This is not looking very good at all. You know, this is not looking very good. So I have a feeling now that obviously the young 6, the CMCs, are going to have to do something to get this worked out. The tree is going to have to do something. Harmony is going to have to do something. Harmony has to be involved in this somehow. She has to do something to rectify all this somehow. Because, you know, hopefully there's still a little bit of magic left in that. You know, that it's not all completely drained out by that point. Hopefully. And maybe Neisei will come to his senses. I don't know. I hope, but I don't think it's going to happen. So who knows? This is not looking good. Yikes. Previously, of course.
Magic is disappearing all across Equestria. Didn't we learn about a creature that eats magic? Some pony should investigate. We'll go.
I thought Starlight Glimmer was going to be temporary head mayor.
Nope.
With Equestria under attack, ponies must stand together.
I need to team up Crusaders. My friends are in trouble.
It seems my little protege's plan worked after all.
The future Empress of Friendship! My little pony.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is going to take a Herculean effort from a lot of different creatures to put an end to Cozy Glow here. This is wow. Yeah, this is going to be part 1 was just that was spellbinding. This is shaping up to be, like I said, one of the better finales of the show. This is really good.
Cozy Glow is behind all of this?
Shocker, right?
I'm not usually a fan of ponies, but draining your precious world of magic so she could trap the 6 of you was inspiring.
There's 7 of us. I knew we shouldn't have left, but Starlight's in charge at the school. If any pony can stop Cozy Glow, it's her.
Or not.
Glow outsmarted the 6 of you. I doubt this Starlight stands a chance.
We have to get out of here. Her students can't handle Cozy on their own. Then I guess we'll just have to bust our way out.
Yeah, bust your way out. That's going to work. Or not.
That didn't work.
Ow.
Not everything can be solved with brute force. We need magic to escape.
Good luck with that, too.
Maybe there's a way to get out without magic, like a secret lever, or a secret button, or a secret admirer who knows a secret about you himself.
What?
You can save with me because I put it in Tartarus and I have a key. I'm afraid not. The most powerful villains and monsters of all time are trapped here. And without our magic, so are we.
Yep.
Unless
Nuh-uh.
these creatures might be losing their magical powers, but there's still a magic that makes up what they are. Maybe we can borrow some of that.
Maybe. It's a long shot, though.
Excuse me? Chancellor Neisei?
You might as well get used to calling me Head Stallion, Neisei. I plan to be here for quite some time.
Gee, it sure is a relief to have some pony in charge. What with the magical crisis going on. And we're all so grateful to you for taking care of those non-ponies. But doesn't the EEA need you?
What the EEA needs is some pony to protect this school from the threats at Equestria's borders, instead of gallivanting off on adventures beyond them.
didn't just run off willy-nilly. She left me in charge. I'm her right house mayor.
Another in a long list of mistakes the Princess of Friendship has made. Rest assured, from now on, this school shall be run according to strict EEA guidelines. It always should have been.
Well, that sounds just peachy. Head stallion, they say. Cozy Glow did all of this?
So clearly, Naysay is the biggest obstacle standing in Cozy Glow's way of putting this plan into action. I never would have guessed that. I mean, but again, Naysay has been so headstrong from the start of how against the school he was. So I knew he was going to have some role in this. I would not have expected it to just be a complete takeover at this level. But clearly, he is the major obstacle here standing in Cozy's way. And maybe in the end, it might be I hate to say it, maybe a helpful deterrent for in the meantime, because again, without him, Cozy follows through on this plan 100%. And so maybe in the meantime, this is a good thing. I don't know. I mean, the longer she can't follow through on the plan, the more time it gives the main six to try to break out of Tartarus, the more it gives, the CMCs and Sandbar to get through, which they're going to do now, talk to Starlight, or at least try to. So yeah, the more delay that Cozy has, the better. Yikes.
That's gotta be what's sucking up all the magic in Equestria.
But if that's true, then Twilight and the others went to Tartarus for nothing. And if all of Equestria's magic's getting sucked up in there, there's no way for them to get back.
We need to get help, but Starlight's trapped here, and there's no way to get word to Celestia or anything else.
Yikes.
I guess we're on our own.
Meanwhile, our other five.
Still locked, huh?
Yeah.
We gotta at least try to get out. Why? If Sandbar's turned his back on us, every other pony probably has too. Sandbar not turn his back. Sandbar is our friend. Did you miss the part where he said he didn't want anything to do with us?
Yeah, right.
Maybe he just said that so one of us could be free to snoop around and figure out what's going on.
I don't know. That sounds too clever for a pony to come up with.
You knew Sandbar was still our friend. We all are. Except for Cozy Glow. That pony is not who we thought she was. She's the one draining magic out of Equestria. What?
Yep.
Explain on the way. But right now, we gotta get the Chancellor Naysay. I know he doesn't like non-ponies, but if we tell him what's going on, he'll help.
Really? Really? I was gonna say, do you really think that's gonna get through to him? Do you really honestly believe that he's gonna fall for that? Chancellor Naysay, yeah, he may have wrong intentions, but he ain't dumb. Like, I don't think on the surface he's dumb. Like genuinely. Yes, he's speciesist. Yes, his intentions are poor, but I don't think he's genuinely dumb. I don't think he's gonna fall for that right away. I don't know. Unless they really, really convince him, unless they really find a way to convince him, I doubt he's going to just leap in right away and say, okay, yes, I'll help you. I highly, highly doubt that.
You are all concerned about the magic situation, but I want to assure you that this institution is safe, despite the absence of your head mayor. As your new head stallion, let me be the first to say that the reign of Princess Twilight is over. From now on, this school will adhere to EEA doctrine, as it should have from the start.
You are terrible.
Thank you, Chancellor Naysay, for that rousing speech. I know you're a stallion who truly believes what you say. And when you say the school will be run according to EEA doctrine, I know you mean it. And when you say there won't be any more lessons from the Princess of Friendship at the School of Friendship, I guess you mean that too.
That's not exactly.
But Twilight decided to run her school outside of the EEA guidelines, and even though you tried to stop her, Princesses Celestia and Luna trusted her enough to support her.
Well, I wouldn't say.
So since I know you mean what you say, my question is really for the students. Are we going to give the pony who already tried to wreck Twilight School once another chance to do it?
Oh, Cozy, you are really turning the tables. Again, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, Emmy. I mean, she is trying to literally turn the tables on Naysay now. Because she is just, she's such a master manipulator. I mean, she's out naysaying Naysay, which is saying a lot. She's like really turning the tables on him, because she even said, well, that means if you're taking over the school now and there'll be no more Princess Twilight, that means no more princess lessons taught by Twilight at the School of Friendship. And he goes, well, that's not exactly what I meant. So clearly his vendetta is not against Twilight. That's not the issue. And I don't think it ever was. The issue he had was the way that it was being taught, the way it was being presented, that it was not that he has always wanted, since we know he's speciesist, a pony-only school. He did not want the other creatures involved, and Twilight was doing that. So that is what Naysay has been against, not Twilight herself. He has been against the way that she approached it, the fact that she went against the EEA and ran the school herself. That has been his vendetta. That has been his MO. That's been his motive. But now Cozy is flipping the script and saying, well, since you always mean what you say, you know, and now that, okay, yeah, you're dismissing Twilight, but now do you really deserve a second chance because you nearly wrecked it in the first place? This is brilliant by Cozy Boy.
I guess things will have to stay the way Twilight wants them, which includes leaving me in charge.
Okay, so maybe we need a new plan.
Yeah, you think? Talk about leading a rebellion. And just like that, Naysay was overcome. Wow.
Not to panic. We don't want to hurt the Chancellor. I'm sure Twilight will know what to do with him when she gets back. Now back to class, everyone. We let the EEA disrupt our friendship studies long enough.
Why are you doing this? I thought you wanted to have some pony in charge of the school.
Oh, I do. You just aren't the pony I had in mind. I can't very well have the EEA running the school if I want to run it myself. Of course, that's just the beginning. You see, if there's one thing I've learned here, it's that friendship is the most powerful thing there is. And as head mayor of the School of Friendship, no pony will have more friends than me, making me the most powerful pony in Equestria.
You are so bad. And I think now Naysay is starting to realize, oh, ponies can actually be bad too. I think, and it was at this moment that Chancellor Naysay realized that he had bucked up. Like that is a face of, oh dear, I screwed up. I've been wrong all along. I should have known better. I should not have been speciesist. That's the moment when he realizes, okay, so apparently there can be bad ponies in Equestria as well. The pony race in and of itself is not perfect, and there can be bad ones in the bunch. That's the moment he realized it, right there. That's the moment. That's the moment of, what have I done? I've also now had a say in putting the state of Equestria in peril. It is now also partially my fault. So he didn't even need the convincing. Of course, he wasn't going to listen to the students. We knew that. He wasn't going to listen to the students. That wasn't going to happen. He had to find out for himself. And no better moment than Cozy Glow out naysaying him, flipping the script, forcing a rebellion for the students to overthrow him, putting her back in charge, and then seeing for himself how bad she really was. Oh my.
Hey, Cozy Glow, what's so funny? Are you just happy to be running to school? Oh, I'm just keeping Twilight's seat warm. Still, it's pretty impressive. Is there anything we can do to help? We can hang out with you all day if you want. You know, there is something I need help with.
Here we go. Plan in action.
Oh, wonderful. I suppose you've all come to gloat?
Actually, we've come to undo all these chains and free you.
Why?
Now that Nasty Pony met even nastier pony, maybe Nasty Pony not be so nasty.
There we go.
Also, we kind of like to stop Cozy before she drains all the magic from Equestria.
She's behind that as well?
Yep.
I must get word to Celestia and Luna.
How? Without magic, it'll take forever to get to them.
Well, it's true that unicorns have lost their ability to cast spells. The most potent magic in Equestria is housed in our artifacts.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that explains it. But wait a minute. Didn't Celestia say that on the second day that the magic of the artifacts would then be drained? He might not have anything left. He might not have anything left. I'm curious to see if he has anything left in that artifact. So, okay, so that explained why he still had magic at first, because it was in his artifact, not in his actual horn. Okay, that explains that. That clears that up. So now it's a matter of, is his artifact going to work?
The EA medallion allows me to travel throughout Equestria. Its magic worked when I chained you up. Perhaps it still has enough to send me to the princess.
What do you want to bet it doesn't? Nope. Done. Yep. Done. Or maybe not. Wow. Just enough.
I hope he makes it. I hope he doesn't come back and lock us up again. If he comes back. Everything's gonna be fine. Twilight and the others are probably already on their way.
Or not. Nope. They're still in Tartarus, of course.
Are you sure there's magic in Cerberus? Clarissa the pig has two tails, and while her singing voice is lovely, I don't think it's magical. We need to try everything if we want to get out of here.
That's true.
I don't know. Tartarus isn't so bad. I can hang out here for a while.
Pinky, really?
Maybe not forever, though.
Right?
But that is just what it will be. If my protege has followed my instructions, by sunset tonight, every last vestige of equestrian magic will disappear into the ether forever!
Oh,
Have
T-Rex,
you even thought
shut
about
up.
what losing magic would mean?
It means the six of you will be trapped here, but me.
Exactly.
Seven.
It means you're trapped here.
Forever.
With us.
With us. Yeah, it ain't so good now, is it, T-Rex?
So, what do we do, Twilight? Dash and Applejack nearly have Cerberus tired out. If Rarity pitches in, I think they can get him to sit still long enough to try what I have in mind. I'm sure I can get the other monsters to help. Besides, I would never call them monsters.
What about T-Rex? She's probably got some magic too, right?
Leave it to me! Down! Okay, everyone. Time to show Equestria that you aren't monsters. You're wonderful, mystical creatures. I know it's not your birthday.
So this now is really taking on a whole different spin. In a way. The monsters of Equestria locked up in Tartarus are going to help the main six. Chancellor Naysay now is apparently bonding with the creatures he was against for the longest time. And one little filly is all behind this. This is mind-bending, mind-breaking on so many levels. This is shaping up to be probably, I don't know if it's up there with the best yet, but it's pretty close to the best finale I've ever seen. This is like, and from such an underwhelming season. That's what makes it all the more surprising, is like this is kind of coming out in a season that's really been mostly a disappointment. That's what makes it all the more stunning to me.
So you had a party, even though we'll sing and get from 1 to 10, and then we'll do it all again. More tea, Princess Pudding Rock?
T-Rex does not want to spend time with Pinkie Pie.
I can do this all eternity.
Fine! I have to leave. Just restart.
It's just so exciting.
And now T-Rex is on their side. The strangeness continues. Once now everyone realizes the threat that Cozy Glow is, okay, now let's all bond with each other against her. Of course.
We should have an ice cream social every day. That's a splendid idea, Apple Bloom. But to tell you the truth, the thing I need help with most is cleaning. Say no more. Just take us around.
She's going to lock them in the closet, isn't she? Isn't she?
To school and show us everything you want cleaned. Well, actually, you can start right in here. It looks pretty clean already. Do you three think you can fool me? I know it's a version when I see it.
Told you. You see?
Why did Pony lead us back down here?
We obviously can't handle Cozy on our own. We can't just sit around and wait for help. So, there's one more prisoner I think we should free.
Ooh, it's Starlight. Is it Starlight?
Yes, it's Starlight.
Counselor Pony, come out. We need help with Nasty Pony.
Don't do it.
She can't talk to us from in there. We'll have to figure a way to get her out.
Hey, this is just like Chapter 12 in Capdacus Facts and Artifacts from Twilight's class. What? I've been studying.
Dallas paid attention, thank you.
Actually, I remember that too. Cody must have linked these artifacts to act like a mystical magnet, attracting all the magic in Equestria into that orb. So we can shut it down by yanking one of these things out, right? Sure. Though that would probably cause a magical feedback loop and destroy the whole school.
Ooh.
Destroy the school of friendship? Oh dear. Chancellor Mason was wrong about a lot of things, but I guess he was right about all of you.
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute. Whoa. Okay, it's become now it has become a rebellion. Cozy Glow now apparently is trying to convince them that the students are, oh gosh, no. Wow. This is worse than I thought. Oh gosh, this is terrible. Wow, this is, again, are ponies blinder than dirt? I mean, really, this is, will ponies believe whatever they hear? Like this is kind of becoming that. This really is. This is in a way kind of sad. It's kind of sad that it's led to that point.
All right, is every pony ready? Sit. I can't stay for how much longer.
Oh, Nork and T-Rex.
Yes, by all means, please. Just get on with it.
There's your cue, little adore you. I think it's working.
Nice. Awesome.
I don't know how long I can hold it. Good boy. Bye, friend. Hopefully we'll be able to turn them all back into your normal, wonderful selves soon. Thanks for the assist, you Magnus.
Finally get out. Ooh, that's close.
Yay! Twilight did it! I couldn't have done it without all your help. Have no Joey did? No!
Eric said all of Equestria's magic would be gone at sunset.
Without magic, there's no way we'll get back to the school in time.
Oh my
What does
god.
that mean?
Means Equestria's doomed.
Failed.
Yeah, it means you're fucking doomed.
Everything Twilight's done for you. Why would you want to destroy her school?
It's not.
Don't.
It's you
I'm
do.
using these artifacts to drain magic from Equestria.
Glow, shut the heck up!
Technically, there's a magical component with Silver Stream when I transform. And Yuna's friendship is magic, Twilight said. And you repaid her by sending her to Tartarus on a wild goose chase.
You did that, you son of a gun! You did that, you son of a gun! It's you are all so dumb.
Generous or kind. Yeah. The elements of harmony are very important. They're just not applicable in every circumstance. And with magic going from Equestria, I'm not even sure the tree of harmony will be as helpful as it once was.
Yes, it will. Cozy Glow, you are bucked. Because they're the new elements.
They're glowing like the elements.
They are the new elements. Cozy Glow, you're screwed.
Pretty magical after all. Hurry, grab the artifacts. Didn't you say that could destroy the school? But if we don't try, we could lose magic forever.
Exactly. Do it.
You all better get clear.
You're screwed. Yes.
It's nice to see you too.
Yeah.
I guess magic is that. You ruined everything. Now Twilight and her ridiculous friends can escape from Tartarus.
Surprise. You're busted, Cozy Glow.
All my friends are safe. You can drop the act,
Cozy Glow.
Your pen pal T-Rick told us all about how he helped you suck up all that magic.
Busted.
But I still don't understand why. Why? Because friendship is power. You might be the princess of friendship, but as head mayor of this school, I can collect even more friends than you.
No, you
You're
can't.
the one who doesn't get it, Cozy. Friendship is powerful, but power isn't why you make friends.
Exactly.
I'm sorry I couldn't teach you that. Well, you taught us. You can't let one bad apple make you think you failed.
Nope.
And we never could have stopped her if we hadn't learned what you taught us about friendship.
Honesty, loyalty, generosity, blah, blah, blah. I can make more friends without using any of them. And if I can't do it here, I'll do it somewhere else. Yeah, I don't think so.
Nor can the EEA. You're going to Tartarus, bitch. Where you belong.
I'm glad you
Sorry
were
I
in charge
say it out
of
loud, but
friendship, Princess.
that's where she belongs.
It's clear to me now that there is no pony better suited for the job.
Yay. He graduated.
Hi, Edna Twilight. We're just practicing for graduation.
Yay.
Graduation? Now that we've saved Equestria, we figured we're done with school. Saving Equestria is nice, but I'm afraid it'll take more than one semester to learn all there is to know about friendship.
Okay, or
I
not.
told you.
Your head mayor is right. I thought friendship was something that only ponies should share with each other.
Yep.
But you all taught me how wrong I was. I suppose true friendship can take a lifetime to understand.
If it were easy to learn, we wouldn't need a school. We held her off as long as we could, but she locked us in this closet. What happened? Is everything all right? Where's Cozy Glow?
They'll tell you the whole
Everything
story.
worked out just fine.
As for Cozy Glow, I can assure you, where she's going, she won't be causing any more trouble.
Tartarus, where she belongs.
Of course it's boring here now, but at least you're not in a cage.
And you're joining her. Joining him.
Hey, neighbor.
Wow. Oops. Okay, already saw that one. Wow. Wow. I don't know what else to say. First off, again, I apologize for dropping the B word there, but she deserved that. She deserved that. Oh gosh, this finale, this hands down. I'm gonna come out and say it. Best finale of the series ever. Period. By far. It kept me guessing. It kept me doubting. It blew my mind. It just, wow. I mean, so again, I knew that Cozy was going to be in on it somehow. I did not think, A, that she would get help from T-Rex of all villains, previous villains, and B, that she'd mostly do it by herself. Well, okay, maybe not by herself, mostly by herself. She had to literally push aside Naysay, and then she had to get the other students rallied behind her. So first she pushed off Naysay as the bad guy, and then she tried to pin it on the students when they were going after the elements. But then, but then in the end, the students were the elements. Kind of what I thought all along. Kind of what I would maybe pictured to have happened all along. Now, granted, they didn't wield the actual elements of harmony themselves. Let's point that out. They glow, as a pony pointed out, one of the ponies pointed out, they said they're glowing like the elements, but it wasn't the actual elements themselves. They were holding on to the artifacts that were taught in the friendship school. But then the tree, of course, came to life and, boom, did everything. So, I have to think, and even though Twilight said, well, just because you saved Equestria, you haven't graduated from the school yet, they have shown now that they are the new elements. I mean, it seems that obvious to me. It seems pretty obvious that I think they're going to be the new elements, or at least they'll be able to work with the elements. Maybe the main six still will. So I don't think they're replacing the main six per se, but they're certainly now a nice complement to them. But they now have shown that they can, work together, wield the elements, at least wield some power with the Tree of Harmony now to do that. And it made everything right away, and everyone bonded together. Chancellor Naysay apparently got to Celestial Luna, the Royal Guard, just when everything was coming back together. And it took that, it took Naysay, like I said, to realize that, there can be bad ponies, and friendship is not just a pony only thing. That there can be others that can, look out for the good of Equestria, and it's nice to see now that he finally realized that. It took him the whole dang season to realize that, unfortunately, which was the frustrating part. But maybe it kind of had to. Maybe they had to set it up that way, to realize that, to get the ending that we did. Cozy Glow deserves to sit in Tartarus forever, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's any chance of her reforming. I really don't. I think she's going to have the same camp as Chrysalis and T-Rex and all the others, because she even said at the end, sitting there next to T-Rex, hey, neighbor, you want to be friends. Cozy Glow saw friendship as not what it truly is. She saw it as a weapon. She saw it as power. She says, okay, the more powerful I become, the more friends I can gain. She saw it as I think in a way she was very envious of Princess Twilight, which kind of with Friendship University, it kind of was the role reversal, how she was envious of Flim and Flam's school, and then they say getting involved in that, giving it full accreditation. I kind of see it here the same way that Cozy Glow probably was very envious of Twilight, because what she was getting from it was that, oh, Twilight saved Equestria so many times, and she's the princess of friendship, and she has all these friends now. If I could do that, if I could then, with no magic, then I can, and if I have all that to myself, I'll have all these great friends. Cozy saw friendship the wrong way. She didn't. She was just so determined. She thought that she literally thought the magic was the magic touch, like to friendship. She viewed it as maybe she viewed it as literal, like in a sense, like because friendship is magic. I think she literally saw it as magic leads to friendship, or magically, power leading to friendship, or, being in a high position leading to friendship. But here's the thing, if Twilight's taught us anything, even when Twilight wasn't a princess, before she became the princess of friendship, she was learning friendship as a process with her time with the main six, or the main five, if you will, and I guess Spike. I love the running gag. So Spike kept saying, "There's 7. Hey, there's 7 of us. There's 7." So I like that was a running gag. I thought that was including Starlight, but no, Starlight was of course trapped in the magic bubble. So yeah, but if Twilight taught us anything, when she was spending all this time with them before she became princess, she was learning the process just as much as the student 6 were learning the process. And it's like Twilight said at the end, yeah, saving Equestria is nice. You've now done it one time, but it doesn't mean you've learned everything. And if there's anyone that can attest to that, it is Princess Twilight. She is clearly the embodiment of that. She shines in this episode. The students, of course, shine in this episode. And Chancellor Naysay, in the end, shines in the episode because he realizes he was in the wrong. Of course, the picture I showed, with the moment when he knew that he had messed up, when he realizes how, Cozy Glow is behind it all. That's his moment of zen. That's his moment of, oh, wow, what have I done? I've screwed up. And then when the students come in to unchain him, they're like, he's like, why? Why would you do that? Because Cozy Glow's the one that's doing all this. It's, she's the one. She's the bad egg. It's not us. It's her. Yes, there can be bad ponies among you. There can, the pony. Not all ponies are on the same page. There can be ponies that go against the, what is best for Equestria. And when Chancellor Naysay finally realizes that, his perspective completely changes, does a complete 180. And again, I can relate to that when it comes to perspectives of characters. Again, Starlight Glimmer. I never would have imagined, from the first moment I saw her, I despised her. I despised Starlight. A couple seasons later, complete 180, and now she's my favorite. I never would have imagined that. And maybe, am I being too harsh on Cozy Glow? In the immediate, no. Maybe in the long term, yes, because obviously you want to hold out some hope that a villain gets reformed. But as we've seen this season, Lightning Dust really didn't reform. Chrysalis still hasn't reformed and probably has no plans to, because she wants revenge on Starlight and the others so bad. And I honestly, in the immediate, I don't see Cozy Glow wanting to reform anytime soon, considering she still wants to work with T-Rex. So yeah, in the immediate, yes, I'm being harsh. Granted, do you want to hold out some hope in the long term? Sure, you kind of do. But in the immediate right now, I really don't see a circumstance where Cozy gets reformed. I don't see it. And I know I said, I want her to spend their time in Tartarus forever. That's where she belongs. Clearly right now she does. But by the same token, I don't want to give up hope on her because she is a smart character. Let's not deny, how, again, Neisei, like I said, with Neisei on the surface is not dumb. His conscience was blinded. His perspective was blinded. But his speciesism was so blinded by the fact that he didn't think there could ever be a bad pony in Equestria, which is kind of surprising considering where Princess Luna came from. Unless he wasn't around at that time, which he might not have been, because hello, she was in the moon for 1,000 years. So he might not have been around during that time. Probably wasn't. So he never could have thought, he never had the presence of mind to think, there could really be a bad pony in Equestria. He never had that perspective. He saw the pony race, the pony species, as perfect, that there could never be a villain among them. So that's why he was so against the school having outside creatures, because he saw them as he viewed them all as threats to the ponies of Equestria. That was his view from the very start, and that's why he was so against the school, not against Twilight. Remember that also shows here when he's talking to Cozy Glow, and Cozy Glow says, so that means no Princess Twilight, no School of Friendship, no teaching a lesson. He said, well, that's not what so you're going to say that's not what I meant. His vendetta was never against Twilight. It was against the school itself and the fact that it was going against the EEA standards. He never had a vendetta against Twilight. His only problem with Twilight was the fact that, yeah, she was leaving the school to go off on the adventures, so she was leaving it unattended. That was his only issue. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't really a thing against her in and of herself. He didn't like the way she was running it, because she was running it by her rules, her way, and not the EEA way. That was his vendetta. So that was his clear motive, and it showed up even here when he says, I'm going to take over as head stallion. It's going to be run by the way of the EEA as it should have been from the start. That was his MO. He could never have guessed, nor could probably have any pony else, because clearly they were blinded by how well Cozy Glow was acting. None of them, we, of course, from a viewer perspective, we see it. From an outsider perspective, we know that Cozy Glow is behind all of this, that she's going to do something, that she's the one. We know this. And it was pretty clear the writers and the staff spelled that out from the start, from the moment we first saw her. That was clear. We just didn't know kind of like how she was going to do it, why she was going to do it, who with she was going to do it. Again, I never could have guessed that T-Rex communicated with her from Tartarus. Never would have put that together. We just didn't know how she was going to go about it, but we knew that she was going to be the main somehow. So it took Neisei to realize that, that I was blinded by my perspective. I was blinded by it. Clearly, there can be friendship in other creatures. There can be bad ponies in Equestria, and and clearly there's a lot for me to learn and a lot for everyone else still to learn. So yeah. So the students obviously shine in this. Clearly, I have adored the students from the start. I will always be a fan of them. I will always be a fan of Smolder and Ocellus. They are clearly my favorite too. I adore them. I hope I can find a good plush of both of them somewhere. I would love to have it, but I know plush price is really expensive and through the roof. So unless I can find a way to make that happen, I'd love to have that. They obviously shine. The tree shines. Twilight and the main six shine. Neisei ends up shining in the end. And on the other side of it, Cozy Glow needs to stay in Tartarus, at least for the time being. There might come a time when somebody, some pony, some creature gets through to her and teaches her right. But if she couldn't even listen to Princess Twilight properly, then I doubt there's any hope for her. You don't want to say a character is hopeless, but when it's probably pretty clear that they're not going to change, then yeah, she's in the same book as Chrysalis, in the same book as Lightning Dust, in the same book as T-Rex and all that. So unfortunately, as unfortunate as it is, but it was set up to that from the start. From the moment I first saw Cozy Glow, I knew that there was something just not right about her. I got the vibe from the start. And I also got the vibe from Sambar. And when Sambar did that, when he, that was my reaction. When he betrayed, when it looked like on the surface he was betraying his friends, leaving them behind to go off with Naysay, I'm thinking to myself, that is so against everything we've seen this season, everything from What Lies Beneath when he went to going to be selfish. That goes against all that. And I'm like, why are you doing this now, Sambar? But then we see him in the next scene where he's getting help from the CMCs. I'm like, okay, now that makes sense. So my perspective on Sambar completely changed because I thought he was like the odd one out from the start. I thought there was just something odd because we didn't see his family on Friends and Family Day. So I'm thinking, why would that be? Why would we not see Sambar's parents? So I found that odd from the start, but as it turns out, he was loyal to the end, and they were loyal to each other, and then the ponies finally saw that none of what Cozy is doing here is trapping is kind or generous or of all the elements, but it was in them. It was all along. So yeah, Cozy, you deserve to sit in Tartarus for a long time. Because if you're not going to change, if you're not even going to think about changing, you deserve to sit there for a long time. So this finale, to me, even though the season itself was so underwhelming, this finale to me, 10 out of 10. This finale is, to me, the best of the series. Because, again, had me guessing, had me mind blown, had me, questioning things, had me questioning characters throughout the episode, had me, wondering what the heck is going on, and then all leading up to the end. It's like I have not had a finale do that to me ever. Well, okay, I shouldn't say ever. Maybe the one with the pillars really didn't do that all that much. The one with Starlight and having them to save the question without magic, that one was pretty close in comparison. But this one, just I'm nearly speechless. I really am. This one was absolutely epic. So good on you, staff. Good on you, writers. Good job to at least end the season on a high note. But really, from an overall retrospective, it doesn't really it doesn't say, I don't want to say it saves the season, because this season as a whole is not really it's not up there with me. This definitely is an elite episode. So this is the 11th elite episode for me of the season. Because like I said I was going to count it into one episode. So that means on the whole, there were, this is just my opinion, there were 11 elite episodes out of the 25. So I combined the finale as one. So that's an elite percentage of 44%. So again, it's one of the lower percentages. Now, compared to previous seasons, that means that still in my book, season 6 is the best season ever. Season 6, out of the 26 episodes, 19 of them I rated elite. So that hardly had a poor episode in it. So that's a 73% elite rate. So yeah, so that means, where does this, so that really, ooh. So with that being said, and I'll share, and again, I guess I'll do season rankings first, then I'll talk about individual episodes to close here. I know I've been going on a long time with this one, but had to because that finale was just so epic. So in terms of the seasons, of how I would rate them right now, Season 6 is still my favorite season. That's 73% elite. Season 5 comes in second. You notice that these first 3 seasons were very Starlight heavy. Because, hey, I like Starlight now, okay? Season 5 is second. 15 elite. Season 5 really only had, in my opinion, 1 bad episode. But aside, one bad episode. I had 15 elite, 10 meh average episodes, 1 bad episode. 58% elite rate. So season 5 is second on my list. Season 7, I have at number 3. Again, 58%, 15 elite episodes, 5 meh, 7 bad episodes. So there were a few episodes of last season that were meh. Fame and Misfortune, Health and Information. There's a few that are really bad in there. So yeah, those were pretty bad. But third overall. Season 4, I have 4th overall, 54% elite with 14 elite episodes, 6 average episodes, and 6 bad episodes. Season 1, I have as 5th. They 46% elite percentage rate. 12 elite episodes there, 8 average episodes, 6 bad episodes. Because season 1, of course, is the very start. So you get sucked into that. Usually some really good ones. Then I have season 3, 6th. Even though season 3 had a 54% elite rate, season 3 was a short season. Season 3 only had 13 episodes. So that's why it's kind of lower on the list. But it had 7 elite episodes, 4 average, and 2 bad episodes. That means then that season 8 goes here. It goes 7th on the list because there were only 11 elite episodes to me this season, the finale being one of them. 11 elite episodes, 7 average episodes, and 7 really bad episodes. This was mostly a mess season. This was not really, again, aside from the fact that the finale was absolutely outstanding, this was mostly just a very mess season. It wasn't off the charts. It wasn't like a season 6 or a season 5 or a season 7. It wasn't at that level for the majority of the episodes. There were, don't get me wrong, the finale was great. There were some great episodes this season. There was some great character building. There were some great characters. There were 11 elite episodes, and I'll share those on my final rankings. There were great episodes, but there were others that did not hit the mark, left a bitter taste in my mouth, did not stand out well, and you got to factor those in with the whole of the season. There were more meh and bad episodes than there were elite ones, and that does not a good season make. So that is why season 8 is so low on my list, because of the fact that there was just more rough episodes than there were really good ones. And then season 2 is actually, in my opinion, the worst season. Season 2, again, was very much like season 8. 42% elite rate. 11, again, very, very similar. 11 elite episodes, 7 meh, and 8 bad episodes. So season 2 is very much on par with season 8. It's just when the bad outweighs the good, it's not a great season as a whole. It's very underwhelming. And that's mostly what season 8 was, unfortunately, to me. It wasn't that great of a season. So real quick, I'm going to update this list, and then I'm going to print this out. Is the finale the best episode this season? That also is an interesting question. And I'm going to say yes. Because, again, the only other episode I gave 10 out of 10 this season was to Horseplay, which was one of the most amazing episodes of the season. So yeah, I'm going to put the finale at number 1 because it deserves that spot. So now I got to adjust everything else. But that's okay. And again, do remember that I separated the premiere. I separated parts 1 and 2 because because I watched it separately. I watched the finale altogether here. But even doing that, I think both parts on their own would have probably been, you know, on the top. You know, it would have been toward the top. So yeah, I would have put them up top for sure. Okay, School Raise now #1. This is 25. There we go. Okay, so my final episode rankings for the season, and let's go backwards because I think it only makes sense that I start with the worst, because I just feel like, you know, that's going to be easier for me. Move this over here so I can see it. Okay, so let's start with the really bad. Let's start with the 7 worst episodes of the season. The seven worst. Like, this is like, these are the really bad episodes, because I normally, of course, do a top 10 or best or top 10 worst, but with my categories now being the elite, the meh, and then the really bad, I kind of do it that way instead. So the 7 really bad episodes of the season. The worst, Friendship University, by far. That episode just left such a bitter taste. Flim and Flam being the jerks that they were. You know, Naysay at the time, before the finale, still being a jerk. And Starspearl falling for that. It was just a very bitter taste. It just nothing really to me good came out of that. I gave that 0 out of 10. I was totally turned off by that. Worst episode I've ever seen. Then number 24, Matter of Principles, another one that was just a turnoff, where Discord was just a grade A jerk. Again, the season of jerks. You know, it was just not very good at all, and I was just not fond of that. So that I gave 2 stars. Number 23, The Mean Six, the worst mid-season finale ever. It's just Chrysalis's plan just completely falling on her face, and again, just and the jerkishness that was going on between the real Main Six and the Mean Six was just terrible. So yeah, I didn't like that at all. I got that 3 stars. 22, Sounds of Silence. I'm sorry, I don't like the Kieran. I'm sorry, I'm in the minority on that. Kind of like I'm in the minority of not liking Fame and Misfortune. I know that, but I don't get them. I don't understand the fascination. I don't like them. To me, Autumn Blaze is annoying, and I only give that 4 out of 10 stars. Number 21, Yakety Sax. Again, this one, the one that got released early, that kind of really put a damper on it from the start, but it wasn't a great episode anyway. It was just, again, kind of a big turnoff. I gave that 4 out of 10. 20, Fake It Till You Make It. Again, I know I'm in the minority on this one too. I was not a fan of Fake It Till You Make It. I'm sorry, Fluttershy being a jerk 3 different ways. I was not a fan of that, so I gave that 6 out of 10. And then, of course, Non-Compete Clause. I mean, granted, yes, it's a student episode, but it really isn't. The focus of that episode was the fighting between Applejack and Rainbow Dash about how to teach them teamwork. So that was just completely fell apart. No, didn't like that. I gave that 6.5 out of 10. All right, now to the meh episodes. I have to see them now because I'm way down here on the camera. Okay. So the meh episodes, these 7 were average for me, kind of in the middle. Good episodes on their own, not great, kind of in the middle of the pack for the season. Number 18, Father Knows Beast. Again, good episode on its own, not great. Again, I love the connection between Spike and Smolder. I love seeing that. I gave, again, 6.5 out of 10 there. Number 17, Mod Couple. Mod Couple, I thought, would not be this high on the list. I thought by the time the season ended, I'd really hate this episode. But and Mudbriar is, of course, a very kind of annoying character, but in the end, he works out for Maud. So again, it wasn't bad. It was okay, but not one I'll remember for the whole season. Again, I gave that 6.5 out of 10. 16, Rockhoof in a Hard Place. Sorry about that again. Just shut that up. Again, this episode really was touchy on a lot of things because of the fact that, yeah, it touches with PTSD, it touches with suicide, with Rockhoof not trying to fit in, but also, again, not trying to fit in. The other pillars had done so well in other jobs, and Rockhoof hadn't found his place yet. So it was good to set up for that regard. So I gave that 6.5 out of 10. Number 15, Breakup Breakdown. Again, decent episode. I knew that Big Mac and Sugar Bell were not going to actually break up. I mean, the lead up, the build up to it was definitely suspenseful. But I knew in the end they weren't actually going to break up. I mean, I think the show has really lumped them together nicely. So I knew that wasn't going to happen, but the build up to it was suspenseful. So I gave that 7 out of 10. Number 14, The End and Friend. Another 7 out of 10 episode. To see, Rainbow Dash and Rarity, the dynamic between those two, struggling to find something in common while teaching actually a very decent lesson to the students. I found that entertaining. I found that a very entertaining episode. So, good episode, not great, 7 out of 10. Number 13 was the first part of the premiere, School Days Part 1. Again, because Chancellor Naysay being the jerk. That's why it really kind of got knocked down low on this list, was because of the fact that he shut the school down and had his specious perspective. So 7 out of 10. But looking back on it now, that's why it's kind of higher up on the list, because it set the wheels in motion for the entire season. Number 12, Marks for Effort. Marks for Effort, really good. Of course, this was where we first saw Cozy Glow. So this, again, set the wheels in motion for what led up to in the finale. So it was just, again, a good episode, but it set the foundation. It set the stage for what was to come. So I gave that a 7 out of 10. All right. My top 11 episodes of the season. These are, to me, the best of the best. These 11 I will remember from the season the most. Number 11, The Washouts. Again, my reactions to it, the return of Lightning Dust, Scootaloo, it finally admitting I'm not going to, because I can't fly. I'm never going to be the best of the best. Rainbow Dash reuniting with Lightning Dust after all this time, and the crazy thing, that was awesome. That was such a really cool episode. I gave that 7.5 out of 10. Great episode. Number 10, Moltdown. Of course, one of the best moments of the season, Spike getting his wings, and that connection with Smolder really starting to develop, with Smolder helping him out through it. That was really cool to see. So that, to me, also, Josh Haber, great job, 7.5 out of 10. My 10th favorite episode of the season. Number 9, Parent Map. Again, Starlight and Sunburst. Seeing them together, awesome. Getting to see their parents, seeing Firelight. That was on my wish list for the year. And I need to go through the wish list too. And we'll go through that again also after I share my whole list. But seeing Starlight's dad, Firelight, and then seeing Stormy Flare, I think was her name, or Sunny Flare, Stormy Flare, one of the two. Sunburst mom, really cool. So that was great episode. Number 8, Granny's Gone Wild. Again, fun story, fun episode. Rainbow Dash and then the grandparents in Las Vegas is getting together, and Dash wanting to ride the roller coaster and having that flipped upside down. That was awesome. That was just a great episode. It aired, of course, the weekend that we were in Winnie City, and I got to see it later, and it was great. So, yeah, great episode. Number 7, Heartwarming Club. Definitely an episode I will not forget with the students. Students, focused on the students, focused on their backstories, focused on how they celebrate, traditions, how they have traditions and holidays, and just seeing that bond develop between them get even stronger, with a little bit of mystery thrown in, and then finding in the end that Gallus was the one that got the tree because, oh, by the way, he didn't want to feel alone because he's an orphan. Wow, huge. So, yeah, great episode. Loved that. Love it. Absolutely great episode. Number 6, again, and those were all 8 out of 10s. I forgot to say that. Parent Map, Granny's Gone Wild, Heartwarming Club were all 8 out of 10 stars for me. Then we get into a couple 8.5 out of 10s. Number 6, School Days Part 2, the premiere second part, when Twilight decides I'm going to run the school my way and we're going to have this school here. Yeah, absolutely Absolutely awesome. And Chancellor Naysay's words, I guess, in the end might have been a little bit taken to heart because, do you remember he said, Twilight said, my school will not fail Equestria. I will look out for the best of Equestria. And then they said, what did he say? Or destroy it. And in a way, it kind of nearly did, but not in the way, of course, Naysay was thinking. So not in the way that Naysay thought it would, that the creatures would do that. So always good to go back to that and keep that in mind. So yeah, that's 8.5 out of 10. Number 6. Number 5, Surf and or Turf. Love it. Love seeing the hippogriffs and their backstory. Love seeing Terramar, a great character. His mom and dad, Commander Skybeak and Ocean Flow. The CMC's getting involved with the map mission. Awesome. Awesome all around. 8.5 out of 10. One of the best episodes of the season. Very, very cool. Then these top 4, 9 out of 10. I consider these like masterclass. These are like the best of the best. Number 4, On the Road to Friendship. In my opinion, best song of the season with Road to Friendship. Starlight and Trixie, you can't go wrong. The dynamic they have is just absolutely amazing. Granted, Starlight did learn a valid lesson from all of that by just not giving away your valued friend's wagon just willy-nilly. But all of it was just spot on, perfect, absolutely amazing, very solid episode. 9 out of 10 for me. Number 3, What Lies Beneath. It set the stage for kind of set the stage for the finale to come because the students, were brought together, overcame their fears. They learned that friendship is in their nature, and the Tree of Harmony we found out was sentient. So that was just awesome in and of itself. They overcame them and showed how much of a bond the Student 6 really have. Number 2, of course, is Horseplay. Again, Princess Celestia. Nicole Oliver had to have a ton of fun recording that episode. Perfect in every way. 10 out of 10. Absolutely amazing. Just to see her go through the acting skills and all of that was just absolutely master class to watch. And then, of course, number 1 was what I just watched, the finale School Race. Just absolutely twists and turns at every corner. It kept me guessing and just absolutely masterful. So going back to my wish list coming into the season. So the first thing on it was the School of Friendship. And someone at Equestria Daily thought there might have been maybe some dark thoughts behind this. So, and what it kind of meant for the main 6. And at first it was really uncertain, but we certainly had a Student 6. We didn't see them a whole lot in the first half. The focus, though, on them was a lot more prevalent in the second half. And it became pretty clear right there in the finale that they, I think, are either they're already the new elements of Harmony or they're going to be or they can wield them themselves and not just the main 6. So that clearly is now pretty obvious. The second thing, I saw on Twitter there was pictures of Sunset Shimmer as a pony. There was actually pictures posted, and I thought, okay, are we finally going to see it in season 8? And we never saw it. Like, what the hey? Spoilers! Like, you're going to tease people like that, and it's not going to happen. And there was a moment where she's hugging Princess Celestia. That never happened in season 8. What the heck happened there? I don't get it. Are we ever going to see Sunset in pony form in the show? I'm holding out hope for season 9, and it's going to be on my season 9 wish list for sure. But, in fact, I might as well start making my season 9 wish list now as I'm recapping this. So, I'm going to start this right now. Wish list for season 9 right now. First off, Sunset as a pony. Will it ever happen in the show? Number 2, the role of the school going forward. Or even Naysay's role, because is Naysay going to stay on at the EEA, or is he going to actually accredit Twilight School now, even though by her standards, is that going to be changed? Or even the Student 6. you know, what now? What is next for them now? What is their role now going forward? Now that they've, you know, say, oh, they're not going to graduate now, but now what's their role going to be going forward? So that's going to be a big thing. I hate to put it on here, but what now is going to be this, I guess, bond between Cozy Glow and Tyrek? What, you know, is something going to come out of that? You know, because again, we saw the tease at the end, Cozy Glow saying, hey, hi neighbor, do you want to be friends? Oh my gosh, that thing needs to shut up. You know, do you want to be friends? So there's got to be something to that. So there has to be something involved with that. You know, there's got to be something to that. Is there going to be any villain reform moving forward? Again, I lump Cozy Glow in there with Chrysalis, you know, with Tyrek. You know, is there going to be any villain reform coming back? I mean, Stygian pretty much did, but is there going to be any others, you know, coming in? Oh, one thing, more movie tie-ins. Now, granted, we're probably not going to get the actual characters themselves or the voice actors because they're expensive as all get out. But you know, we did notice this season the movie became canon because we saw it on the map, the locations they visited, and we heard about Tempest in passing, and we heard about the Storm King in passing when Silverstream's Fear. So are we going to see more of that? Are we going to, you know, as that goes on, that'll be interesting. My thing from season 8, does Queen Chrysalis, this is my third item on season 8, does Queen Chrysalis get her revenge like she told Starlight would happen? She tried in episode 13 and failed. It didn't happen. So it kind of ties into villain reform, but do we see Chrysalis again in season 9? Will that happen? Will she try again? I'm granted she probably will because she said she would, but you know, what are we going to see from them moving forward? I mentioned for season 8, what do the Legends or the Pillars now? What does Stygian do now? Well, that was a check. That was a check mark. We saw all of them. We saw all of them now in their new roles, you know. We saw Star Swirl early on, although we kind of in a bad spot at Friendship University. But then we see that the rest of them landed in good spots, and then Rockhoof was struggling to find his spot until he became the story keeper of Equestria. So I don't really see. I don't think I don't think I should put the Legends really on the season 9 list because I think maybe we've exhausted that story arc a bit. There could be times later maybe where they fit in, but I think the fact that we saw them all here in season 8, I don't think there's much left for them to go on with the Pillars. So maybe with Stygian, because we didn't even get to see Stygian. So I'll put Stygian question mark because it would be nice to see Stygian again at least. That's the only one that we didn't see. We saw, yeah, he's writing books, but we didn't actually see Stygian. So maybe in the future, maybe he'll have a role going forward. Because really, if you think about it, he didn't really, you know, he didn't really have a true role. You know, he didn't, you know, he turned to the Pony Shadows because he wanted to be with his friends, you know, helping save Equestria. He wanted some of the credit, but he really hasn't carved out, I think, a real niche or role since then. So I'd like to see them take on that a little bit. What else? Oh, well, okay, let's go back to this list. Secondary characters getting expanded roles. It's always a big thing for me. But this season we saw, of course, with Maud and Mudbriar, the grannies getting together. We saw Trixie's dad, Jackpot. We saw him in an episode with the Hippogriffs. Sunburst with his mom, of course. Spike getting his wings. That was massive. Gallus being an orphan. The return of Lightning Dust. And then Harmony. Harmony. The Tree of Harmony. What is her role going to be going forward? Are we going to see her in different forms? I was hoping for that in the finale. We never saw it. We never even saw the sparkly Twilight. We didn't see that at all. So are we going to see more of that moving forward. I hope we do. I really hope that we do. So that was cool. I didn't really see it this season. We kind of touched on it in episode 20, but we really didn't fully address it. You know, Scootaloo's backstory. You know, that was on my list. We really didn't get a whole scope of it. We get bits and pieces of it from season to season, episode to episode, and we really haven't fully addressed it. So we know now that Scootaloo is becoming more accepting of the fact that she can't fly, that she's accepted it, and she realizes she's not going to be a great flyer, and we get that. But we still really don't know. There's still a whole lot of blanks to fill in. We don't know, you know, how it happened or why it happened, or, you know, who even her parents are. We don't know all this. So, or if she even had any. You know, is she an orphan like Alice? So we still don't know a whole lot about Scootaloo. So there's still a lot to fill in the blanks. We know a lot about Appleluma, obviously, from her being around Applejack. You know a lot about Sweetie Belle. A lot about Sweetie Belle from her being around Rarity. But we don't see that with Scootaloo. Granted, Rainbow Dash has taken her under her wing, but they're not actual, you know, true sisters. So I really want to see that addressed at some point. I had on here more Wonderbolt episodes because I love the Wonderbolts. Oh my gosh, sorry. I want to see, you know, more Wonderbolt episodes this season, obviously, because I'm a big fan of the Wonderbolts. You guys know this. You can't really see it, but I have a picture up here on the wall right next to my Spitfire autograph of all the Wonderbolts. We had somewhat of a check with that with Washouts and Spitfire's epic speech, or pep talk, if you will, but not overall. So I don't know. I might be holding out for hope on that. And then we did see, and then the last one, we did see Starlight Glimmer's parents, at least parents this season. We saw her dad Firelight, so that was on my list too. So for now, that means I have 9 items on my list for season 9, which isn't bad. So Sunset is a pony. The role of the school going forward, and Chancellor Naysay is rolling it, and the student 6. Cozy Glow and Tyrek, are they going to team up? Are any villains going to get reformed? Is there going to be one that comes back again with Tyrek coming out of nowhere? Is that going to happen again? Movie tie-ins, Chrysalis's role, if anything, if we see her again, Stygian, the Tree of Harmony, and Scootaloo's backstory. I think that's a pretty good list to go into season 9. I hope that season 9 as a whole, I will say, is a lot better than season 8, because again, with season 8, for the most part, the bad tended to outweigh the good, and really only the good episodes that I saw were the ones that either featured the students prominently, aside from the finale, of course, featured the students prominently, or had great characters, taught a good lesson, had great character development from like Celestia and Terramar and others. That's what I like to see. I don't like seeing characters being jerks. I don't like seeing characters being out of character, out of place. That doesn't resonate with me, or just comes off as leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. I don't like seeing that. I hope that season 9 gives us more of that, and I hope that whatever premise they take with it is going to be a strong one moving forward. And there are many in the community that are saying that season 9 is going to be it. It's going to be it for FiM, and while that may be the case, if it is the case, I hope it goes out strong. I hope it realizes the impact it has made in this community. I hope it does really go out with a strong season. I really do. And then Gen 5 and what's to come, to me, is still a mystery. There are rumors out there. There are things out there that have said there are different things. Those I hope are not true, because I don't like some of what I see in those. But time will tell. And for now, all we can do is wait. All we can do is, move on and take in what we've learned, I guess, and experienced from this season, and move it forward and see what is in store to come. So I thank you all so much for tuning in. I thank you for watching. You know, those who view, subscribe, you guys are amazing. You're awesome for hearing what I have to say and going on this experience with me. I thank you for that. The week, barring any, again, surprises or unforeseen outages or what have you, the week 8 preview of FFSR will likely be this week. It will probably be on Wednesday night. So tentatively 7 o'clock Wednesday night. So stay tuned for that. And then probably the next ATSD will probably not be until probably either early to mid-November, because since we're in hiatus with episodes now, there won't be a whole lot of pony to talk about unless something else goes on in the fandom. So really the next several ATSDs are probably just going to be focusing on other things in my life, sports related, you know, what have you, stuff like that. So that's really what ATSD is going to be for the foreseeable future until season 9 kicks off. So, but I'm always tuned to Equestria Daily. I'm always tuned to Horse News, to these sites with all the news stories. So if something comes up that's worthy of being talked about and to share my 2 cents on, I will definitely do that on here. So thank you guys again so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. And until the next stream, we'll see you next time. I'm Spiky Dash, signing off. God bless. Have a great day, everyone.